uh, you can actually track someone's location if you're
Yeah,
talking to them on that service.
Yes. Also, we're
if you
alive, by the
turn it
way.
on.
Just fair warning.
Wow.
Or
Okay.
I just saw
I
something
I'm
real
I
quick. Ethan Ralph has this super follow thing on his Twitter. I don't know if that's new or not, but I was like, what the fuck is this?
He does.
Yeah, so does that mean he has exclusive Twitter content?
No, it just means he has a tin cup that he rattles on
you
Twitter.
know you,
Oh.
you know in the feminist dominated West, I'm actually surprised that would even be legal. I'm surprised that would be legal. I would think all the prissy little feminist bitches would be would be up in arms over that.
About what?
Wait, which
Men
one?
collecting money on the
Snapchat,
internet?
Snapchat.
Oh yeah, the Snapchat location.
How come? Well, the
Yeah.
Snapchat location thing that you're. Hello, by the way, everybody tuning in. The Snapchat thing you're talking about is you have a thing called the Snap Map, and your friends usually can see where you are on that map. So if you're at like
Wow.
Starbucks, your friends can see, oh, Harden's at Starbucks. I'm gonna go there and hang out with them. That's the idea usually.
Wow. Wow.
Or does it blow your mind?
I'm just surprised, especially in Western countries, that would actually be allowed, because I would think all the feminists would be complaining to governments to get Snapchat put out of business.
What's it got to do with feminism?
Well, because a voice over IP service with that kind of feature that that enables other users to track your location. Oh man, I can see, I can see endless numbers of prissy little bitches, saying, "Oh, all these guys are stalking me. They're stalking me because of Snapchat."
Okay, let's talk about privacy then. First of all, I don't think you have to be a prissy little bitch to want your privacy. I do too. I am actually very big on privacy. I nag all of my friends that I know in real life. I nag people on this show to care more about their privacy. I don't think you should have your location on 24/7 to the point where, like, Amazon and Google and Facebook know at any given time throughout the day where you are and what you're doing, what you're buying, what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you're eating. I think that's all a bad idea. I think you should turn all of that shit off.
I don't know. Is it even possible to prevent those websites from tracking you?
To some degree, yes, it is. I mean, it's called telemetry. It's how apps track you on your. If you have an iPad, right? I can guarantee you that every
Yeah.
app on your iPad already tracks what you do on your iPad, including the iPad itself, your iOS operating system. Have you heard? So, when's the last time you and I talked? That was before the abortion decision, right, in America?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about time that happened. It's about goddamn time that happened.
Okay, so what I was gonna tie into that is I was on Twitter browsing as I
But
usually
but
do,
but
looking
but
at.
but but
Hang on,
but but
I'm
but it,
gonna give you an
oh, go ahead.
interesting tie in here. So I was browsing Twitter as I do, and I saw very viral tweets, very popular tweets saying women giving each other advice that you should remove your period tracker apps. You know how they have their apps where they put in, okay, I had my period from the 6th to the whatever the fuck, the 13th or so, and then it tracks it for them. To remove
Oh,
those
okay.
apps from their phones because, allegedly, if they were to get an illegal abortion, the government could subpoena the records from those apps and see that their
Hmm.
periods may have been late and such, and then that could be used in court as evidence against them.
Oh,
Yeah. So that, I mean, there's a lot of privacy concerns here. I don't think that's really going to help because even
interesting.
if you delete your period tracker app, you still, if you have Google Maps on your phone, it's still going to tell the government that you drove to an abortion clinic. So that's not going to really do anything for you. But nonetheless, women have been
Hmm.
giving each other advice about this for a while now. How do you feel about it?
um, well, I'll just address the issue of these mobile software programs. I don't like that the term app. That's such a stupid fucking term. They're software programs. They're software programs. They're mobile software
It's
programs.
really just short for application though, which is
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. But okay,
Yeah.
sorry, that's all I had to say.
Yeah. But so I mean, you already know I don't sympathize with feminists at all. So I'm not going to address that specific software that you were just talking about. But I'll just address these mobile software programs in general. In
Mm-hmm.
general, um, all of the mobile software programs that I have on my tablet, I keep my usage of them down to a minimal, and I don't have any of the features on my tablet that would that would make it any easier, at least than it already is. Than it already is. I mean, the thing is, it is impossible to prevent these corporations from tracking you, because there's so many backdoor ways built into the software programs that
Correct.
it's impossible to disable them all. But there definitely are things that you can do to not to make it easier for them than it already is.
I completely agree. So let's go back to the abortion thing, though. It seemed like that got you fired up, and I want to hear your thoughts about that.
The thing is, the Supreme Court ending Roe v. Wade is not actually having the effect that the feminist snowflakes are thinking that it has. I wish it was having that effect, but it's not. It's not ending abortions in this country. All that did, all ending Roe v. Wade did, was return the legal jurisdiction over that matter to the
I
50
know.
states.
I'm not trying to
That's
talk
it.
the legislation
That's
here. I'm just trying to get
that's
your
it.
opinion on abortion itself.
Yeah, so the point I'm making, for folks in the audience who aren't aware, because I'm sure most people who are not in America are not aware, because the news media has not been accurately reporting this. Um, abortion is still legal in some states. The only thing that's changed is in some states, since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, it has been illegal, primarily the red states, but primarily the red
Yeah, but
states,
I'm
like
asking, so do you agree with the ruling in general?
it's a step. I don't think it goes far enough. It doesn't go as far as I'd like, but it's definitely a
Okay,
step in a better direction.
how far would you go? How would you like it to look?
I'm not an anti-abortion absolutist. There are two excuses for abortion that I'm okay with. One, if there is a legitimate medical threat, like threat of death from a pregnancy to the mother. I am skeptical of that though, because because yeah, you hear these stories about women who die during childbirth. I'm skeptical of that because, see, as a Darwinist, that totally, which I am a Darwinist,
Could
because
you
Darwin has never yet been proven wrong.
could you
That
explain what a Darwinist is?
a
Does that just mean
Darwinist?
you believe in evolution? Because that's a lot of
Yes.
people. Oh yeah,
Yes.
okay, but that's like the majority of people on Earth. That's like 99% of people.
No, definitely not the religious fanatics in America, and definitely not the Islamic fanatics in Saudi Arabia and other
Sure, fair
places
enough.
like that.
Okay,
No,
so, but you seem
and
to be
they are
agreeing. You
and
seem
they
to be
are they.
agreeing with them on abortion. How? So, what is the reason for that? What's your secular reasoning for being against abortion then?
Let me finish my point before I argue that. So
My bad.
the reason I'm skeptical of these claims, that pregnancy can pose a risk of death to the mother, is because that violates the rules of evolution. See,
What do you mean?
because have you ever heard of a female elephant dying as a result of pregnancy, or a female giraffe? You know, why is that unheard of in the rest of the animal kingdom? That's my point. That is literally unheard
I
of
think
in the rest of the because
I mean, I'm
because
sure animals die as
the
well. I don't know what would set humans apart in that, right? I mean,
because
like,
yeah, well,
well, yeah, they
because
do. I have heard because there's this alpaca ranch that I follow on the internet because it's very funny and very poorly run. And it's like every once in a while, they'll have a surprise alpaca pregnancy, and the alpaca will have a baby, and then the alpaca will have a vaginal prolapse. And if that happened in nature, that alpaca would be dead, right? I mean, eventually, I assume that the prolapse will like somehow kill it, get infected, or bleed out or something. Like the farmer actually has to come in and push the vaginal prolapse back into the alpaca's guts.
what the hell is this alpaca ranch?
Oh, it's that's
What
a
the
long
fuck are they
story.
doing
That's
with
not
these
the point.
creatures?
My point is that I have heard of animals having birth complications. It can't be that crazy of an idea.
Hmm. I don't know. That's just weird because um see, humans are not bacteria, and we're not protozoans. We are an animal species that reproduces sexually. Pretty much every animal species reproduces sexually. Every animal species is comprised of male and female, and
Yes.
that's one of the things that sets the animal kingdom apart from the bacteria kingdom, or the protozoa kingdom. Protozoans are one-celled animals, and
Hmm.
protozoans do not
So
have male and female.
can I
They they
quickly
so they reproduce in a similar manner to bacteria.
Okay, let
They
me
don't have
sum
male
this up
and female.
and you can tell me if I understood you correctly. You're saying
But but
that
but 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 but
uh,
in every species that has male and female, the female of the species is built for childbirth. Otherwise, the species would go extinct. The species would go extinct. So that's why I find that just totally bizarre.
okay, but that's wrong though. Okay, so your point is, and tell me if I'm wrong, right? Your point is women can't be dying that much during childbirth because that's counter like intuitive to what, you reproduce sexually, right? It's the normal turn of events.
that violates the rules of evolution.
Okay, but then think about the praying mantis, where the male will mate with the female, and then the male immediately gets his head eaten by the female. The male dies almost 100% of the time during mating. How does that make sense evolutionarily then?
That doesn't surprise me because in
You just said
in
it doesn't
in
make sense though, for like one party during reproduction to die.
well, because no, I'm talking about death as a result of childbirth, because
Well, okay, but we can lump sex and childbirth together as reproduction writ large, right?
yes.
It takes two, male, female, and you're arguing that the females shouldn't be dying at this rate because that doesn't make sense evolutionarily. And I'm telling you, in
Yes.
a lot of animal species, the male or the female, they routinely die reproducing.
Well, regarding the praying mantis, see, that's different because evolution is brutal on the males of every species. The males of our species, we've just figured out a way to circumvent evolution to some extent. But generally speaking, evolution does not give a damn about the males of a
Well, evolution
species.
doesn't care about
The
anyone, but my point more grandly is hang on.
so in a lot of species in the animal kingdom, besides humans, in a lot of species, and the praying mantis included, the male is considered expendable. Yeah, I mean that's just how evolution is.
Sure, but
ev-
my point was that evolutionarily speaking, evolution has this way of making animals like the parents in general expendable. This is why I think our urge to reproduce, or our primal instinct to reproduce, is our most instinctual, most ingrained, most primal instinct, right? This is why if you watch a documentary like Blue Planet, you'll see a fucking fish swim through like an armada of sharks just so it can maybe have a chance of fertilizing the female's eggs, right? Like that,
oh yeah, yeah,
including
yeah.
the praying mantis and whatnot. Like the male will
Tuna,
literally risk death on the off chance that he gets to pass his genes
well,
on,
sure.
and they
Tuna
die a
too.
lot.
Sure. Tuna too. The reason, yeah,
I love tuna.
the reason, uh, man, you a sick fucking degenerate. But
Because I like tuna. Why?
yeah, if you mean that in the way I think you mean it, yes, yes.
I mean that in the way that I love tuna rice with black pepper and salt.
That's what I mean. You're a sick fucking degenerate.
How come? They're yummy.
Eating a fucking corpse.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to eat it alive. But okay, we'll get back to the tuna, I guess. So explain what you meant with the praying mantis and why.
Well, well, the the reason tuna often fall prey to bears, it is because when a bear hangs out by a river, tuna will often swim upstream. And the reason they do that, the reason they swim upstream in rivers and rivers and lakes and whatnot,
Are you thinking about
is
salmon?
is
Tuna are gigantic fish. Tuna are like half a person in size. It's not something a bear can just swat out of the water.
is it salmon?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Chad is saying it's salmon. Chad is saying you're thinking of salmon. I mean, I like salmon too, but tell me this: why is it okay for that bear to like catch a fish and eat
Maybe
it, and not me?
maybe, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought it was tuna, but okay, salmon. Yeah, it's very common for them to swim upstream, and they're doing so for mating opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they
And
die every once in a while at the claws of a bear, and I'm saying
be,
this
be,
is
be,
evolution. You die
because
trying to reproduce,
they
just
get
like
caught by
women who give
bears.
birth and die.
Is not the same thing though. That's I don't think you're getting it. In an animal species where the female is prone to death, where the female of the species is prone to death as a result of childbirth, that species would be at a very high risk of going extinct. So that's why, from an evolutionary standpoint, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, but it's not like death in childbirth happens to every single woman who gives birth. I assume it's rare, especially nowadays with modern medicine and whatnot. Right? It doesn't happen to every woman.
Right. Yeah, but my point is, so if there is a case in which a woman is at an actual legitimate medical risk of death from childbirth, then all right, whatever, so be it. The and the other excuse for abortion that I can understand is if the doctors are detecting through medical tests a really bad type of birth defect. I'm not talking about Down syndrome, because
Oh, okay.
a person with Down syndrome can live a functional life. Um,
I agree.
I'm talking about the kind of birth defect in which the child's quality of life would be zero.
Oh, like
I
the moms who were affected by Teflon and then their babies are born without any arms. They're just like little offends.
Well,
I mean?
Like chicken nuggets.
for example, I saw a story on BBC about, and this was 6 years ago. The guy was in his late 20s at the time, and he was born with some strange kind of birth defect that at the time was not detectable by medical tests. So the mother didn't know that he had that birth defect until he was born. And in the news story, they're showing the mother feeding him, and this I think he was 28 at the time. She's feeding him, spoon feeding him, just as she was feeding a toddler age child.
Yeah, I know the stories
Uh,
too. I agree with you. When I was
yeah, yeah,
younger,
yeah,
I also saw a documentary about a little girl who had been born with a completely fucked up face. It looked like the girl fell into a blender or something, and she couldn't eat on her own. She needed to be like intubated and shit. And it's like,
oh
okay, mate,
wow.
it's kind of fucked up that, you birthed this just so you can pat yourself on the back for being a good person, but she's like suffering. Maybe this wasn't such a great idea. Like, she's in constant pain and she has a life expectancy of 2 years. This might not be the
Yeah.
best of ideas. But I still want to hear why you are against abortion generally. And let's say there's no birth defect. Let's say the mom's life is not in danger. Why do you agree with the religious Muslims, let's say, that it should be illegal?
Well, first of all, we need to dispel the myth that being in favor of the rights of a sentient unborn child, which an unborn child is a sentient being. So I'm anti-abortion for the I'm anti-abortion for the same reason that I'm a vegan activist.
That's fair.
It's about the rights of sentient beings. So I have no problem with contraception. In fact, I'm
Hmm.
more of the school of thought of Margaret Sanger. One thing a lot of people don't know about Margaret Sanger, because the media is dishonest in in how they report about her. Margaret's Planned Parenthood is actually tarnishing Margaret Sanger's reputation.
That's a lady that
Um,
founded it, right?
yes, yes.
Wasn't she like a
Well,
eugenicist though, who was like, yeah, we need to get
when,
rid of black people or something?
when she founded the organization, it was originally called American Birth Control League, and then after she died,
Like supervillains.
the organization's name changed to Planned Parenthood. Well, the reason she originally named it American Birth Control League is because she was pro contraception, but she was not pro abortion. Margaret Sanger was staunchly opposed to abortion. She was pro contraception.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
And did a lot. She did a lot of work in promoting the use of contraception, among the categories of people that she did not want to see reproducing primarily.
And who would that be?
Well, contrary to popular belief, no, Margaret Sanger was not a racist. She wasn't a racist. Margaret Sanger wanted to see the reproduction rate of low IQ people, low IQ people and people with aggression tendencies, or what she perceived as aggression tendencies and feeble-mindedness and whatnot, kept it down to a minimal. I mean, look,
Ah,
Margaret Sanger was friends with W.E.B. Du Bois, who
I don't know
was
who that is.
W.E.B. Du Bois was a very high intellect black man. Very high intellect.
Well, yeah, but
Black
that
guy.
just sounds like I'm not racist. I have black
She
friends.
was friends. She was friends with him. She was friends with him.
You just said what I said. Yeah, but that doesn't mean she can't be racist. And also, to my knowledge, Planned Parenthood to this day performs most abortions overwhelmingly on the black community, on black women. So if she started out saying we need to get rid of these benighted low IQ savages, and then her
Well,
organization ends up aborting almost exclusively black babies, kind of sounds racist to me.
well, look, Margaret Sanger was, yeah, she wasn't a fan of hood type of black people. You know the elements that you see in the hoods of America that are that are so fucking low IQ, so stupid that you wonder how they're able to function at all. Um, but she, but what I'm saying is she did not want stupid people overwhelming the human gene pool in general. Look, Margaret Sanger was invited to do a speaking engagement for a chapter of the KKK, and she talked about.
Wait, what? Margaret Sanger was invited to speak for the KKK, and this is your evidence that she was not racist?
Quit interrupting me, damn! I'm making a point here.
My bad.
She talked about that experience, doing a lecture for, I forget which chapter of the KKK it was, but she talked about that experience, and she had nothing nice to say about them. Literally nothing nice to say about that group. She thought that they were such fucking moronic and stupid people,
Then why did she get invited?
and her argument was this is an example of why I am pro contraception. That was her argument. Yeah. I mean, she saw the people in the KKK group, that she did the speaking engagement for, as being no different than hillbillies or rednecks, or she did not like them. She thought that they were just such fucking morons.
Okay, that sounds to me like a very smug woman just going around decreeing who should be allowed to breed and not. I mean, who the fuck is she?
Well, she certainly wasn't the first, and certainly not the last. Certainly not the last. Look, there's a guy on YouTube. His name is Eli Harmon. He's from Alaska, and he advocates for having a generous welfare state for people who are not able to earn a living, but in exchange for agreeing to be sterilized, so that folks like that do not pass on their genes.
Okay, what if you are a very productive
That's what
member of
that's
society? Let's
and
say
and
you're...
that's what Margaret Sanger was advocating for. That's what she was advocating
Okay,
for.
hang on, relax a second. What if you're a very productive member of society, you're very high IQ, let's say like Stephen Hawking or something, then one day you get crippled in a car accident, you can no longer work. That doesn't mean your genes are faulty, it doesn't mean your children are gonna be bums.
Born into poverty and
Or if
you
you're
really don't
born
have
into
a way to get
poverty.
paid more?
Yeah. It's not like the system is super fair where all the people who can't work... I agree that there's bums and mooches on the system, but not everyone who doesn't work is, unemployed by choice. What about those people?
Well, and that's where I would disagree with folks like Margaret Sanger, because I don't think they take those factors into account. um,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, my only point is to correct the record, and that Margaret Sanger was a racist, and she wanted to exterminate all black people. No, no, that was not her that was
I mean, it
not
sounds
her
like she wanted to
position.
exterminate all stupid people, which is also not that great of a personality trait in a woman. I mean, again, who the fuck is she
Yeah.
to decree who should be allowed to breed and not? That shouldn't be up to anyone. How do you feel
Um.
recently about these? To switch up gears a little bit, how do you
Yeah.
feel? So I'm sure you've seen the whole fucking eating meat is bad stuff, which I'm sure you agree with for the environment and whatnot.
Hell
How do you feel
yes.
about eating bugs? Because I
I
feel like
think
I'm
you're.
seeing more and more propaganda
I,
from the UN, from
I,
NATO, from the WHO, telling us
I,
more and more that
I,
we should eat cockroach meat and ground up crickets and shit.
I think you already know my answer to that.
I want to hear it. And we have new viewers, so.
Um, my answer to that is anybody promoting that should be hung.
Anyone, wait, opposed to it?
Anybody promoting
Oh,
that,
promoting.
anyone promoting that
Okay,
should be executed.
okay, we agree on that, but I feel like for different reasons. Is it because you care about the lives of the cockroaches?
Them crickets and any other insects that would be targeted for making so-called food products for humans.
Well, I mean, what do you mean by targeted? They are pests. What purpose does a cockroach serve or a mosquito?
Um,
Didn't
well,
scientists determine that mosquitoes have literally no upside to existing? Like, if we eradicated them overnight, we would, like, the world would be a better place.
crickets are definitely not pests. Bees are not pests.
Sure, not bees, but no one's saying to eat bees, I guess. What about cockroaches, though? What do they do for us?
Well, I'm not interested in going to war with cockroaches. I would like to see civilized means developed. Some kind of technology to non-violent to keep cockroaches out of our living spaces. But other than that, I have no position on them one way or the other.
Well,
And
you
I'm
can't
not
ask them
interested.
politely. They are intruders, and they, I assume, carry diseases. Well, plus they're just yucky to look at. They're gross.
Yeah, yeah, they're very messy creatures.
How do you
But
feel about lookism in the animal? Like, this is something I talk about with my friends a lot, where, the reason most people love cats and dogs is because cats and dogs, they're adorable to look at. But then you show those same people a deep sea creature that's just absolutely abhorrent to look at, and you could kick that thing in the fucking face and no one would care. And it seems to me that we base how much
it's a
value we put on animal lives we base it on how adorable they are to look at.
it's hypocrisy. It is. It is. It is. It's straight up hypocrisy.
I agree, but to be fair, have you seen those deep sea fish?
Some, yeah.
Yeah, would you ever want to be in a same pool with them? It's disgusting.
It depends if it's one that's prone to aggression and attacking. Well, first of all, they really shouldn't be in a swimming pool anyway.
Thought experiment.
Companies like SeaWorld and companies like that should be outlawed. That shouldn't even be legal to
Yeah,
take a
what about
creature.
zoos? So I agree with you on things like circuses, for instance. I know that circuses are usually very unethical. They beat like the monkeys up with whips and
as
shit to
are
teach them.
as are zoos.
Yeah, okay.
Which
See, I have been to zoos. I don't go.
SeaWorld is an aquatic zoo.
Okay,
SeaWorld
but
is
I have
just
been
an
to zoos,
aquatic zoo.
Harden, and I have seen monkeys, and they are living the high life. They are chill. They're enjoying themselves. They're fucking around. They're eating bananas and just lazing around in the sun. They really don't look abused at all.
Actually, no, they're not. No, being confined to a space that amounts to a walk-in closet by comparison to their natural habitat, and
They
and
have
being
bigger houses than I
exploited,
do.
and
Their
and
enclosure
and
is
and
bigger than
and
my apartment.
and being exploited, for the purposes of entertaining humans, um, um, and being at constant risk of death because of some stupid fucking human goes into one of those enclosures and causes that creature to go into fight or flight mode, and the creature attacks. The creature gets
I
killed
agree. I
by
don't think that happens a
get
lot, though.
get
I
get
was,
get gets gets killed by the zoo, because of our human fragility complex, our fucking human fragility
well,
complex.
it's not
The
fragility. I'll tell you what it is, Harden. If a child falls into like a gorilla enclosure, it's not fragility. It's just you you don't
no no
even want to risk that child getting hurt. The gorilla's
no
life matters way,
no
way less than the child's life and the
no it's
possibility of him dying.
no it's human fragility, because if mom and dad are going to be, and that's an example of something I would agree with Margaret Sanger on. That's an example of someone who really shouldn't breed, who should be sterilized, because if a mom and a dad are going to be so fucking stupid to bring their child to a zoo, and even more stupid to not keep an eye on the
Well,
child.
I think a
Uh,
lot of
uh,
people would agree with you. So you're probably thinking of that one gorilla, Harambe, where this happened, where a
yeah,
child fell into his enclosure and they shot the gorilla. I
yeah.
agree with you. I actually saw this almost happen
The
firsthand. I
the
was
the
in
the the
the
the mother of that child and the zoo staff that executed that gorilla deserve capital punishment. They deserve to be fucking executed.
I saw I was in the Amsterdam Zoo. It was either
I, I'm
Amsterdam or Hamburg. Hang on. And I saw we were
I'm
at the chimpanzee enclosure and there
I'm
was
t-
a
I- I'm
mother
t-
with a
I'm
small
telling you,
child. I'm not going to
I'm
let you
telling.
interrupt me, motherfucker. This is my time now.
Good.
I get to talk. And I saw a mother with a child that she was holding and she was shaking it around a bit around the enclosure and his shoe fell in. And the monkeys started playing with the shoe and they were having quite a lot of fun with the kid's shoe. But I was also thinking, like, man, one slip up and that could have been your kid that they're, playing around with, and then God knows what the fuck would have happened. So I do
Yeah.
agree it's more on the parents to make sure that their kids don't fall into a goddamn monkey enclosure or into the lion's den. But at the same time, those animals, at
I
least if you go to a
I
reputable zoo, they don't look miserable. I've been to zoos where you can literally feed red pandas and shit, and they will come up to you and they'll grab an apple off of your hand. They seem happy. Usually when an animal is abused, it doesn't trust humans. It runs away, if anything. But you can usually tell when an animal is relaxed around humans that it's being treated well.
um uh, that's an anecdotal exception that
Sure.
you're pointing to. It's like I always say, exceptions to a rule do not negate the rule. And yeah, you can find exceptions here and there of creatures in a zoo that actually are happy with their living situation. But those are just that. Those are just that. They are exceptions. The vast majority of creatures in zoos are not at all happy with their living situation.
I could believe
Uh,
that. I mean, some of them certainly in shittier zoos. That's probably true. But then, in my
all
opinion,
zoos are shitty. All of them. All of them. All of them. All
like
zoos
I
are
said,
shitty.
I have been to zoos where
None
they
of them
looked
are
very
any good.
happy.
None of them. None of them. No. 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 If we do have a duty to these creatures that we are removing from their natural habitat, and that's what sanctuaries are for. A
Okay, so
sanctuary
tell me
is
this:
different from a zoo.
you have cats, right?
One cat.
Okay, well, oh, you used to have more. So, okay, you have
Oh,
one cat.
I had two, but Mushu, my other one, died. Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
she was an old lady.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry to hear that.
she lived to. Yeah, she
So,
had
are
a.
they indoor
She
cats
had,
or outdoor?
oh, indoor only.
Okay, so aren't you doing the same thing? Aren't you forcing them into a tiny enclosure that's a closet compared to the world?
Um, you can't make that comparison because dogs and cats are part of human society. So we have um um dogs and cats really unless it's a dog or a cat that is born feral, that's never been part of a human household, they really cannot fend for themselves outdoors because they are domesticated creatures, and they've been well, cats domesticated themselves. Cats became part of human society when when uh, when humans started growing grains and whatnot
Okay, but all right, then
in the Middle East.
you're making the Zeus point that I mean, basically what you're saying is these animals are now happier that they have been domesticated by humans and that now
No,
we take
no,
care of
no,
them.
no, no, no. The same rules that apply to dogs and cats do not apply to
It seems like you're picking and choosing.
to creatures in zoos. No, I'm
It
not.
seems like you're
No, I'm
picking
not.
and choosing, Harn, because you're saying a cat could not survive outside, which I agree with. I have 3 cats. One of them especially is like genuinely retarded. She's really flabby and weak and small and dumb. Like she would have been dead on the streets. If I didn't take her in, she would have been dead, right? But you could say the same thing about pandas. For instance, pandas are fucking
No,
retarded. Have you ever seen them? They would be dead in the wild.
no, because because they didn't evolve with humans. Like I said, dogs and cats have evolved with humans. They've evolved with humans. They've been a part of human society for thousands of years.
Okay, and now
So
we can
so
have
so
gorillas be part of our evolution. Why not? Why
so
can't we have pet gorillas 1,000 years from now?
why? For what? Leave
Because
them
they're
be.
awesome.
Leave them be. Leave them the fuck alone.
Okay, well, I could make the same argument about dogs. Leave them the fuck alone. Why? Why do you want them domesticated? Why cats? Leave your cat the fuck alone. Leave it outside.
And
Undomesticated.
and another reason why we shouldn't be allowing dogs and cats outside, but cats in particular, because besides just the dangers that they face from other humans, from coyotes, wolves, and raccoons and other wildlife, cats pose a danger to the animal kingdom, mainly birds, because cats kill like feral cats, for example, feral cats that have never been a part of a human family. They kill a lot of birds. They kill a lot of birds.
I have heard of that. By the way, Harley says in the chat, did you know a large amount of female ducks die during mating season? That makes sense. Don't male ducks have like corkscrew torture dicks?
Female ducks die as a result of pregnancy? Really?
Well, I don't know, but as a result of pregnancy, ducks don't get pregnant, they lay eggs. But, you know, I would assume that during mating, damage can be done. Don't a lot of, like, male mammals have dicks that have hooks or something that literally make the vagina bloody when they pull out?
I'll have to research that. Damn, I wish I was on Discord right now. I'd like to see some of the comments.
I can read you some. Actually, I can do one better. I'll announce this. If you would like to call in and ask Cardin questions, join the Discord. We have a channel called Call-ins. Tag me in the chat if you have a question, and I'll unmute you if you have anything interesting to ask.
But yeah, yeah. Before I forget, the topic I wanted to talk about earlier was held by the dashboard lights theory that the UN is lying about the actual global human population numbers. So the
Okay,
reason,
hang on. Before you give the listeners whiplash, you switch gears real quick there. So we were talking about overpopulation, and you don't believe in that,
yeah.
right? Okay.
Well, I'm not prepared to rule dashboard's theory out. I'm not prepared to rule his theory out because I'm seeing signs of population contraction myself when I'm out and about where I live. So like for example, there's there's a place that's in the hood that I go to every few weeks for appointments. And right near that building there's there's an apartment complex with a playground on it, a playground
Mm-hmm.
for children. And I remember back in the 1980s and 1990s and whatnot, you would never be able to walk past any place with a playground, whether it's an apartment complex. A lot of apartment complexes that have small playgrounds, or a city park or what have you. Any place with a playground, you'd never be able to walk by someplace like that on a nice summer day and not see children out playing. When every time I walk past that apartment complex, which again is in the hood, there's no children on that playground at all. Not one single child. Not one. Not one.
You know the
And
hood
see,
has internet these days. That's all I have to say. Internet's not that hard to come by.
what's your point, Mariah? What's your point?
My point
You,
is they're all inside playing games. Everyone has the internet these days, even in the hood.
everyone? No, 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 no. When it's summer, when it's nice weather, people still like to get outside and do
No,
things.
maybe if they're old as hell like you, but no, people stay inside all the time.
No, no, no. See. If everybody was a recluse like I am, then then I could see that. But I mean, look, nightclubs are still in business. Why are nightclubs still in business? Because people like going to those venues. What does
Yeah,
that
but
tell
kids
us?
can't go
That
to
tells us
fucking nightclubs. What are they gonna do with some metal bars and a fucking bridge that's fucking broken? Like, I don't understand. Like, really?
I mean, wouldn't you then? You seem to have contradictory views. Also, if you
you,
want to sterilize, if you agree with Sanger that, for instance, people in the hood should be sterilized, but also the population rate is dropping and people aren't reproducing enough. How do you square these two thoughts?
well, what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. The median age for white people in America is 58. And when you have a population with a median age that high, that is scary. That is scary because that means you've got more people dying every year than being born. And that is a sign of a dying culture. And I believe that's one of the things that has led to the rise of the alt-right in the West. You know,
Yeah, see, my problem with
uh,
that, Harden, is that almost every single person in the alt-right that I
however,
ever see is a fucking loser. Like, people who generally don't have children, don't have wives, don't have jobs even. They're usually fat people in their basements saying Jesus is Kang. Praise
ho-
Jesus. White people Kangs. I miss the 50s
however,
even though they were born in like the late 90s and shit. And it's like, okay, what the fuck are you even talking about? Like, you're not helping the population crisis.
having said that, um, I've noticed when I'm in my local hood here in Minneapolis, that the median age for black people is starting to get close to what it is for white people. It is much older than it was back in the 90s. See, back in the 90s, the median age in the hood was, I think, probably like 22, 23, something like that. But from what I've been able to observe with my own eyes every time I'm in the hood, the median age seems to be around 38, 39, maybe
How often
early
are you in the hood?
maybe, like I said, every few weeks. Maybe early 40s, something like that. There's way less children and way less teenagers hanging out in these hoods than you would have seen back in the 80s and the 90s. And I believe that if this current trend continues, if this continues, that the black community is going to be where the white community is right now, where the median age is upper 50s, and there's more people dying every year than being born.
Okay, let me see. We have some people that want to be unmuted, Harden, because they want to ask you questions, and
Sure.
my friend Tori actually wants to ask you something, it seems. So, Tori, go ahead. You have to unmute yourself, Tori.
Okay.
Hi.
First off, Harden, have you been to like more than one single hood? And is this hood just like a fucking shack, or is it like some place where they let the grass grow a little too long? Like, and two, do you assume all black people live in hoods? 3, have you not considered around the time that you come around, somebody's just not outside, they don't have friends, they're not at somebody's house?
What I'm saying is it is highly unusual to and see, I'm pointing to the hood as an example, because the childbirth rate for white people started declining probably about 2 or 3 decades before it started declining in the hoods of America, because this anti-childbirth, this pro-annihilation agenda that was started with Paul Ehrlich back in the 1960s. They started targeting the white community first, and then the black community. Yeah, I'd say maybe 15 years, 20 years after they started targeting white people. Part of how they've done it is by producing sitcoms that showed, young professional couples, financially successful couples that were either not like sitcoms and stuff like that that either had no children at all. So you can look at sitcoms from the 70s, like All in the Family. Archie Bunker and Edith had one daughter. That was it. Are we still connected?
We're listening to you, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because I'm hearing static on my end for some reason. But as I was saying, so you look at sitcoms from the 70s, like Archie Bunker, like All in the Family. Archie Bunker and Edith had one daughter. That was it. One daughter, which that totally violates the rules of evolution. Now, from that same era, now All in the Family was a white sitcom, but from that same era, you can also look at a lot of black sitcoms, a lot of the black sitcoms that they produced in that time, like The Jeffersons, for example. In The Jeffersons, George and Louise had one son. That was it. That is violating the rules of evolution. You see, because
why are you talking? Okay,
Wait,
but
why are we using sitcoms to explain this phenomenon?
that's what I was going to ask. Why are you quoting like 70s sitcoms as evidence of evolution or something?
How the family unit has been destroyed for African Americans, where it is encouraged to be a single mother, where it's encouraged for the father to go out, where people are reliant on their grandparent. It's like you can look at other things. Why are you looking at TV shows? TV shows are reality, and you can point out that the Cosby Show had a family unit, Fresh Prince of Bel Air had the family unit.
Those shows did, yes,
Tim
yes.
Allen's show with like Home Improvement had a stable family unit. It's just like, why are you putting out these single things, and why aren't you looking at reality? Right? You can look at how white women today are encouraged to step away from the family unit, that it's encouraged to live single up until it's almost too late and they will have fertility problems. You're not looking in the right place. And that's what's frustrating here, man. You have the idea, but you got to look in the correct places. Stop looking at TV. And actually look around you. And the whole thing, like, hood kids don't go outside. Man, I could go up the fucking street up into the city. I can go up to fucking Allison Hill and see them all outside. I can look outside in fucking suburbia and see all of these black children. Like,
are you?
You said you're a recluse.
Tori, you seem to have not been listening to what I'm saying. The argument that I was making, the argument that I was making is the fact that you're not seeing children, not even in the hoods of America. The fact that you're not seeing children out on playgrounds, the fact that you're not seeing teenagers hanging out. That is something that is
violent here. It's like there's a problem of violence. Maybe
that is something. Hold on. That is something that is more consistent with population contraction than it is with population growth, and that supports Hill by the Dashboard Lights theory. That maybe the UN is lying. Maybe they're lying about there being 8-point-something billion people on the planet. Maybe it's a fraction of that number.
That wouldn't surprise me. No one's saying that the UN is beyond lying. I'm sure they lie all the time about fucking everything. But I think Tori's point more so is the underlying issues are different from TVs manipulating people into not having kids. Like, for instance, who do you... I'm sure we've talked about this before, but like, who do you blame for the fatherlessness in like the black community, for instance? Do you blame men or the women? Because I would blame the men for abandoning their own kids.
No, I blame women for that.
How?
Because
so I knock up a woman and then I tell her fuck you and I leave. How is that her fault? Besides choosing a shitty boyfriends, but past that, if she's abandoned.
That's not what's actually happening in most of these cases. In most of these cases, if these bitches are even getting pregnant at all, which they're increasingly on contraception now, they do not want to be. They are choosing, and because we live in a modern civilization that no longer restricts female sexuality like we should be doing, like they still do in places like Saudi Arabia, which I give them credit for. Because when you lift all restrictions on female sexuality, and when you give women really any bit of power at all, this is what they will do.
What is it that they do? Like, what is the act that you are specifically blaming them for?
They will reject the family unit, and they will opt for being single mothers. They will.
Harden, there's a lot of women who don't opt for it. I've been raised by a single mother. She was not happy at all about her circumstances, but life is very difficult for a single mother. Try as they may, especially because my mom, I grew up in Turkey for half my life, and she raised me there as a single mom, and in a patriarchal society like that, it is very, very difficult on a woman all on her own to be going through life and taken seriously by people. Like, single moms don't just go around frolicking in the sun, you know, rolling around in the lilies going, oh, I'm so happy I don't have any men in my life. I'm so glad the father fucked off and now I have to work 2 jobs to support my child. Like, they're not happy. They don't like what's happened to them. Nobody likes being alone with their child. It's not like a conscious decision or choice they make. I mean, of course, in some instances it is, where if the father is abusive, every woman should get the hell out. But if not, there are a lot of women who simply, they cannot get along with their husbands because maybe he's abusive or whatnot. Or he just fucks off and he doesn't care about his son, like my dad did. And I don't see how that would be the woman's fault. At some point, you have to give the men some responsibility for their own actions, too. It takes 2 to have a baby.
Well, so Turkey in a country like Turkey, I can see how a woman would be happy living the single mother life, or just never becoming a mother at all, and living the life of a careerist, which is really a man's lifestyle.
I just told you it's the opposite. In a country like Turkey, it's way more difficult for a single mom. Again, because
that's the point I'm making. I can see how a woman would be unhappy in that living circumstance.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said happy. My bad. I misheard you.
In a country like Turkey, because Turkey is not as advanced of a society like the West or Japan or China or Korea or Singapore.
Yeah, but I mean, the point remains. It's not like there is, like, Turkey isn't a fucking slum, you know, bush tribe nation. And in America and other first world countries, single moms still aren't happy to be alone. You go up to literally any single mother and ask, like, hey, would you rather have or not have a husband that loves you and would help you take care of your child and be there for him and be a father figure? None of them are going to say no. It's just that it's difficult for them, again, because either the husband is a piece of shit who fucks off, or maybe he goes to prison because he did something stupid. But either way, it's usually not the mom's willing, happy choice to be a single mom.
I'm really not convinced of that, because you see, there's really something wrong with Western women, from an evolutionary standpoint, because the lifestyle of Western women is just totally in violation of the rules of evolution. And you know, this is something else that I agree with Hell by the Dashboard Light on a lot of things. You know, one thing that I have a hard time agreeing with him on is his oofy doofy theory, you know, because I just haven't seen enough evidence to support that, you know. But on a lot of other things that he points out, you know, he's making sense. And you know, when he talks about the psychological programming that's been done on Western women pretty much since the 1950s.
Hang on. First of all, I don't care about.
I gotta agree with him on that. You know, because here's the thing, the dangerously low childbirth rate that we have now in the West. You know, and I'm including the black community in America, because I'm telling you, the childbirth rate in the hoods in America is way lower than it used to be decades ago. And like I said before, I believe if current trends continue, that the black community is going to be where the white community in America is right now.
Okay, I want to talk more about where the blame lies, though. Hang on, you're letting men way too much off the hook here, Harden. Like you said, okay, women are being manipulated, and it's evolutionarily nonsensical what they're doing, according to you. Don't you think it is evolutionarily nonsensical for men to have kids and then abandon their children and not take care of them? Don't you
Well,
think that
here,
men have been manipulated as well to be weaker and less manly
well,
and less of a father figure and to just simply abandon their kids? That's not what a man does. That's not what a man
well,
is.
here's. I mean, you're acting as if all men are doing that.
A lot of men are, yeah, they abandon their children, a lot of them. That's why it's called the fatherlessness crisis. The figure is way, way higher than it should be.
For the majority of single mother families is because these women are allowed the choice to be single mothers, and they're choosing that. But that brings me back to my point. That brings me back to my
Are you
point. And
against, sorry, are you against divorce as well?
I think divorce should be extremely difficult, and I'm opposed to no fault divorce too. No, there needs to be a damn good reason for it.
Okay, let's,
um,
all right, what would be a good reason for you? Like, okay, give me like an example of a man abandoning his own child that you think is fair game. Like, what kind of a situation would you say, oh, this guy fucked off, he dumped his wife, he dumped his kid, and he left? When is that okay to do? Because in my opinion,
yeah.
it's almost never okay to do. And that's his choice. That
Um,
I
I'm
think men have more of a choice in this than the women do. Because women, again, when a woman is pregnant, she can't just fucking dump the kid out of her belly, whereas the man can literally just leave her and never come back. He has more freedom in this regard.
Well, let me. I'll come. I'll come. I'll come back to that. Let me finish. Let me finish my train of thought. The point that I was currently on.
Okay, I'm
Um,
listening.
so, you have to wonder, why do we see this type of phenomenon? Women choosing to live a man's life, to live the life of a careerist, and squander away their fertility years and either never have any children at all, or maybe have one child in their 40s, which oftentimes will be a child born with birth defects. Why are we seeing that phenomenon in the West, but at the same time we're not seeing that same. It's funny, people in the West love to make fun of Africans, right? For being primitive, living in mud huts and stuff. But here's the problem with that line of thinking. African countries have modern cities. Nairobi is a modern city. Harare, which is the capital city of Zimbabwe, is a modern city. Uh, 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 Kampala, the capital city of Uganda, is a modern city. Lagos is a modern city. So the point I'm making is Africans are not like people in the West perceive them to be. These aren't
I
these
agree.
aren't backwards primitive people living in mud huts and shit like that. No, these folks live in modern cities. I mean, you can look at photos of downtown Lagos, for example. Downtown Lagos looks comparable to any Western city. Downtown Lagos has skyscrapers and stuff. But yet, so what was? Oh yeah. The point I was making is, see, the mainstream argument to that is, well, the reason for the low childbirth rate in the West is because of modern advanced living, and I call bullshit on that, because Africans are also enjoying that same modern advanced living. I mean, look, you can look at documentaries made in Nigeria, made in Malawi, made in Tanzania. Shit. In Tanzania, there's there's I forget the name of that damn bridge, but it's a bridge.
Okay, I believe you, but we're going off into the
w-
weeds here, Harden, and I promised to unmute others who wanted to also ask you
uh,
questions. So,
y-
Tori,
y-
did that answer your questions? Oh, Tori muted herself. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
I wanted
What
to
I'm sa-
ask him something earlier.
what I'm saying what I'm saying
So
is
do you
what I'm
like?
saying is what I'm saying is you know after after
Bro, are you gonna have me
you
let
know
me have a turn, man? I will let you have your turn. I promise. I promise. But I just want to
go
ask
ahead,
you,
go ahead.
since you love using sitcoms, right? So you were talking about like men want the family and all that shit. But do you remember the
Television
trope of
tele
wait?
television
Do you
is one of the
remember? Do you
is
remember the trope of I hate my bitch wife, I hate marriage, I hate my kids? Do you remember that trope? And it's also
Yeah, like
called boomer
married
humor.
with
You ever
children.
see the boomer comics? Yeah, married with children. He fucking hated his wife. His wife, all she wanted was his dick. That's all she wanted. She just wanted to have sex constantly, and he was mad about it. You think that'd be the dream, right? No. But he hated his kids. The Sopranos, a well-received show, but the man hated his fucking family. I'm like,
I,
look at boomer comics. They hate their wife. They dream about killing their wife. And you're sitting here and telling me it's only the women? Nah, man. That's dumb. That's
Okay,
stupid.
Harden, you get like 2 sentences to reply, and then I am getting a new caller. Thank you, Tori.
You're welcome. It's nice seeing you again, Harden.
Thank you, Tori. Harden.
again, I don't remember seeing her before. I don't know. Um, the thing is, there is a lot of rift. There's a hell of a lot of rift between the genders in the West. And the reason I bring up sitcoms and stuff is because television programming is historically one of the tools that the elites have used. It's a form of psychological programming. Um, but the point I was bringing up when talking about African countries is see, I think the difference between African countries and the West, and the reason why African countries still have an insanely high childbirth rate, while the West is a dying culture. Because in the
Okay, 3
West you've got
sentences, Harden. Wrap it up, please.
because in the West you've got more people dying every year than being born. It's excuse me. It's because in African countries you don't have this rift between the genders like you have in the West.
Okay, Mac Gang, you are unmuted if you're there. You might have to unmute yourself also.
Yeah. Okay, so before
Hold
I
on.
ask any questions, before I go
Hold on.
on,
Hold on. Hold on. I'll be
She
right
said
back.
hello, and you're already interrupting her, Harden. Let her
Hold
get
on,
a question out.
listen,
I'll be right
intelligent,
back.
let
I'll
him
be right
be.
back. I gotta
Let
do
him
something
go.
real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Wait, what did you say, Harden? I didn't hear. What did he say?
I think
He said he'll be right back.
Do something. Yeah.
He said he'll be right back.
Yeah,
Oh,
another woman comes on and he had to leave, so
He's got to get a quick one out.
okay.
yeah. It was a solid incel moment.
Well, in the meantime, I guess I should say thank you for everyone that is subscribing and cheering and whatnot. I couldn't really get a word in edgewise to thank anyone, but thank you. I'm having fun. I hope all the listeners are.
Yeah. Maybe he's just like shocked that this many women want to speak with him, but
I'm shocked that there's this many women in my server, but there you go, I
I'm
guess.
back.
Okay. Hey, Harden. All right,
Okay.
so Mac Gang is here and she has questions for you.
Go ahead.
Alrighty, so before I ask any questions, I do want to know your political stance. So what do you like identify as, or what is it exactly?
As nothing, because I don't support the political right or the political left. In fact, I want to see both of them abolished.
Okay, so you're more of like in the middle?
No.
Okay, so so you're nothing, I guess. Okay.
Nah,
Well, anyways, I wanted to go off the point where you said
literally nothing. If I had my way, I would outlaw the right wing and the left wing. I would literally make it illegal for to identify as right wing or left wing if I had my way. But go
Well,
ahead.
isn't
What's your
that taking
question?
away the right to like choose? I mean, the whole free speech type of thing. Anyways, so my point was that you were speaking about like single mothers, and all of that stuff, and saying it's their fault. So say in the black community, which the only one you were speaking about, because apparently there's no other races in America. Um, you're saying that it's their fault. So
What?
did you
Were you
ever
not?
think of the fact that
You're not listening to what
what?
I was saying. Go ahead. What's your question?
So my question is that uh did you ever think that maybe it's a father who grew up from their families? Or are you just completely blaming the woman? I mean, it's a half and half type of thing. There might be a small like minority that is the woman, but what was your whole point on that?
Um, the vast majority of women in the West, and
Hmm.
and that includes the black community in America, are choosing to either live a man's lifestyle, be a careerist, and squander away their fertility years, or if they do have children, they're 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 using they're using the father as a financial tool to extort money out of through the court, under the guise of so-called child support, which should be abolished, and
Whoa,
because
whoa,
they
whoa, whoa,
don't
whoa,
even.
whoa, 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 hang on. So if a man leaves his wife, which, okay, fair enough, sometimes there's irreparable differences, a man shouldn't even be compelled to take care of his child and like provide a living for his child.
See, that's where you have it wrong, Kaya. In the vast majority of cases, in the vast majority of cases, the man is not the one walking away. The woman, because we've given women a level of freedom in the West that they shouldn't have.
But that's not the point.
What?
Whether the woman, sorry, hang on. Whether the woman,
the
hard,
woman is the one sending the man away. She's sending him away.
hard,
He's
that doesn't
not
matter to
walking
me.
away on his
Whether
own. She
whether
is
you
sending him away.
whether you
That's my
divorce
point.
or not, a man should take care of his child, should he not? Whether you are together with the woman or you get a divorce, you should. At the end of the day, there should be money coming out of your pocket for your child.
Here's my position on that. As long as we're going to continue to have this court enforced extortion, which that's what child support and alimony are, but I'm specifically talking about child support here, then these bitches should be required by the courts. They should be required by the courts, which
These
currently they're not
bitches.
under the current system, to prove that they are spending that money that they're extorting through the court out of the man on the child.
Okay, I mean that's fair. That's not that
Be-
fucking
be- be-
crazy. I
be-
agree. I think if
be-
you're
be-
getting
be-
alimony, you should be able to prove
I
that
mean,
okay, this actually went to the child and not like whatever getting my nails done. Sure, but point is more so I don't see it as
and,
extortion that a
and
man would be
I
asked, hey,
and
whether
I
you are
can
with this woman or not, this is your baby. You made it. It's your
and
responsibility now.
and I can assure you, the vast majority of women who are benefiting from child support, they are spending that money on their lifestyle, not on the
how the fuck
child.
do you know? Are you a woman? Bro, how do you how do you know? Do you get your information from Twitter? I don't understand. Like, where do you get your information? Where do you get your what the fuck?
Uh, do you have an argument to make?
Or she's asking
No,
how you
that's
know that most women spend their alimony or child support on frivolous things.
yeah.
Um, well, because I've talked to. I don't think there's even been any study done on this, unfortunately, because this is an issue that affects men, and in the West, men are considered expendable. So anything that affects men, the governments are going to ignore. But I can tell you though, from guys that I've known within my social circle, from a lot of guys I've talked to on social media, online, from guys that I've talked to in my travels, who who are being subjected to this court enforced extortion known as child support. Their ex bitches are not spending that money on the child. Their ex bitches are spending that money on their frivolous lifestyles, on nail dues, hair dues, luxury vacation trips, and stuff like that.
Okay, I have a question. So I know,
Okay, understandable.
so Harden, I have a friend, a close friend, who's married and he has children with this woman. They have had marital problems in the past, and he's thought a lot about divorcing her. But he would have to pay alimony if he did, and if he had to pay alimony, he would severely have to downgrade his own life quality. Basically, he would have to move into a tiny apartment and whatnot. You also said, well, I mean, that's like a disincentive to get divorced, right? Which, didn't you say that's a good thing? That less people should be divorcing, and that divorce should be way more difficult to do. Isn't it a good thing then? That the court should say that, well, if you really want to divorce, you're going to have to pay.
Well, the problem with that is in the West, the man has to pay heavily, regardless of whether he is the one who initiates the divorce or she is the one who initiates the divorce. In fact, there's a lot of guys in the West who are sleeping out of their vehicles because because their wives found a man with more money than him, or maybe found herself a Chad or a Tyrone or whichever.
Okay, hang on. That's not how alimony works. If a woman remarries with a richer man, then her ex-husband does not continue have to pay alimony. Alimony is specifically a thing that the courts have in place to.
I'm not talking about alimony. I'm talking about child support. There's a lot of men who who have such burdensome child support payments that they're forced to live out of their vehicle, and that's despite the fact that the wife is the one who initiated the divorce, or in some cases he might have initiated the divorce because he caught her philandering on him, but he still has to pay a very burdensome amount in child support.
Yeah, but Harden, that's not like the child's fault. Sure, if the kid's mom, you catch her cheating, sure, fucking dump her, she's a cunt, but nonetheless, that doesn't mean. Why should that mean that you, as the father, now should be free from taking care of your child? That's still your child. It's not his fault that his mom cheated.
Yeah, but should the child support payments be thousands of dollars a month? What should it be so burdensome that it forces him to have to live out of a damn vehicle?
Well, I don't know, dude. Like, children are expensive.
Point.
If you didn't want to pay that, then you shouldn't have had a child. It was going to cost you. Yeah. It was going to cost you thousands of dollars anyway.
Okay, but see, you're showing your hypocrisy, because
Why?
because why aren't you telling these bitches, look, if you don't want the expense burden of a child, then use contraception?
I am telling them that. I tell both sexes that. If you don't want to deal with the hassle of like supporting a child, don't have them. I'm not a hypocrite about this at all. I think women should only have children with men that they truly trust not to abandon them. That's like my baseline. That should be common sense. And the same goes for men. If you're going to abandon this woman, don't have kids. And if you have kids, man or woman, it is your ethical duty to take care of it. Whether you like each other or not. That's irrelevant to me. I don't care if you really, really fucking hate your wife and she really, really fucking hates you. Nonetheless, you have a child together. And that comes before anything else.
Well, another rule that I would like to see in place for child support, as long as we're going to continue to have that in the West, which again is a court enforced extortion. The amount that the amount that these judges order men to pay should be severely limited, should be extremely limited. And here's what I mean. um,
It is though. It's based off their
the
like income. It's based off what they make.
the the only expenses that should be counted are legitimate expenses that actually pertain to the child. That would not include mortgage if the bitch lives in ownership housing, or rent if she lives in rental housing, because she would have that expense with or without the child. Any expense that she would have with or without the child, tough shit. That should not be counted as an expense for child support purposes.
But
The o-
that's not the
It
woman,
isn't
like,
though.
it's not, you're not paying the rent for the sake of the woman, you're paying that rent for the sake of the child, so he can also continue
Yeah.
living there. The point isn't
Also,
to
the
give her like
children need
a
space for themselves as well. It's not like she's gonna live in a studio home with children. It's going to be more than one room for the, at least if the children have to share a room, it's, I'm pretty sure you don't want them all sleeping on top of each other.
Arden.
yeah.
Did you have a
Um,
thought, or
Social battery might be out.
So if I'm understanding your argument, Mariah, you're saying that if there's two or three children or four children in the equation, then the cost of housing should be included in calculating this
Yeah,
court.
but that was just a small point I was trying to make out of the whole thing. I mean, I was just saying, like I don't think you want your kid and your ex-wife to live on top of each other, but it wasn't supposed to be a whole big thing, is what I was saying. So yeah, I feel like a portion should be included in there.
I also feel like I have to bring this up, Harden. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
the discussion about alimony and child support, the reason that the courts are stacked against the men, if that's how you want to phrase it, is
They are
because
very much so, very much so, very much so.
Yes, but it is specifically because we used to live in a society of the kinds that you want, a patriarchy where men would usually be the paycheck earners and women would stay home without any income of their own. So when they got divorced, through no fault of the woman, she had no income. If the man divorces her, that's why alimony became a thing.
Yeah.
That's why child support was a thing.
Yeah.
If you want a society where men are the only ones in the workforce and women just stay home and bake cakes all day for their husbands in the kitchen, then this is the natural responsibility that you'll have to bear, is alimony and child support if you decide to divorce.
In that type of societal structure, it makes sense, but not one bit in the current societal structure, where women are now outpacing men in terms of income, because universities, workplaces, both public and private sector workplaces are marginalizing and
Well, sure, but that's not the
disenfranchising men.
kind of people usually collecting child support anyway, Harden. Like the women who generally go to college and then get a degree and dedicate themselves
Sure
to
they
a
are.
career, they're usually not the
Sure they
ones
are.
who have children. The women who usually have children, they sometimes, yes, they have to take time off from work and they become housewives in a lot of the cases. And then again, they have no income. They stop working for years at a time, which on your resume, that doesn't look good when you have such a long gap in your work history for 5 years or something. And that is what alimony is. It's telling a woman, listen, you decided to give up your career to have a child with this man, and then he abandons you, and now you're going to have a much, much harder time finding a job again. And in that intermittent time between you finding a job and him leaving you, you're going to get some payments from him.
I actually like Glenn Campbell's solution to this problem. See, what he proposes is I wonder why he took down his YouTube channel. He used to have a channel
No
on
idea who that
YouTube
is.
called he used to have a channel on YouTube called Demographic Doom. where he talks about the demographic decline of the West. Um, so what he proposes is is having having a structure in place that would that would totally eliminate all risk, all financial risk for both men and women of childbirth. Um, um, so here's the thing. It is expensive to take care of children, and that is a cost burden that really should not be be put on individuals, because that's something that society as a whole can manage, but individuals cannot, because see, governments can issue as much money as they want. Individuals cannot. If you or I, as private citizens, try to issue money, that would be considered counterfeiting, and we'd go to prison for that.
Right. But that doesn't, I mean, the governments can also not just keep printing money and then keep taking care of everyone's children for free. Like, that's still money that comes out of your and my pocket. I'd rather you just take care of your own
It
child rather
depends.
than
It
depend on my
it de-
fucking taxes.
no. It depends. It depends on what kind of country you're in. Now, if you're in a country like Greece, which made the mistake of giving up their sovereign currency that they used to have in order to be allowed membership in the EU, then then yeah, you're in a country where the government um, is limited to raising revenue through taxes. But in countries like Britain or America that have their own sovereign currencies, the 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 only thing the government is limited to is well, there's a couple things. One, you don't want to issue more money into circulation than what available goods and services are, because that leads to inflation. And two, abusive market power. So everybody's railing about the hyperinflation that we've got going on in America right now. That is because of abusive market power.
Okay. Mac, did you have any other questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna get to the next caller.
Yeah. I just had one more quick question.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I wanted to know. This is completely off topic, and what's your view on femboys?
Femboys. You mean homos? Homos? What are you referring to?
Well, just give me your view on them. Like, if that's how you feel about them, that's how you feel.
I don't know. That's a complicated.
Remember, no
that-
slurs, please, Harden. Okay.
That's a complicated subject matter. I think the reason we're seeing that phenomenon in the West, and almost exclusively in the West, because we're damn sure not seeing that phenomenon in Nigeria or Uganda or Ghana or any place like that. It again goes back to the rift that's been created between the genders in the West, and the marginalization of men in the West. I think I think a lot of men are choosing to try to live as women because it is easier to live as a woman in the West. And
It's
you know
easier?
and hell yes.
That's a deeper topic, but don't you think that like some guys just are more effeminate and they want to wear skirts and get railed, and
Well,
some
and
men are into that?
well, and this is why when you look at transgenderism, for example, which really should not be a thing, that really shouldn't exist. Um, 80% of people who go transgender are male to female. 80%. 80%.
Yeah, that wasn't a question. Femboys aren't trans; they're just femboys, feminine boys.
Oh, you mean so? Oh, you mean like metrosexuals, but people like
Oh
that?
god, that's such a boomer term. No, just like, do you know what a twink is?
No.
Okay, just imagine like a hairless, really effeminate young man, and he likes to wear a skirt and like a schoolgirl outfit. That's what a femboy is. And they do dumb dances online,
That
and then other men give them money for it and jerk off to it.
yeah, that sounds like someone with a mental health issue.
Okay, well, thank you, Mac, for calling in.
Appreciate it.
And I'm gonna unmute Paz now. Paz.
Hey, how are you doing? Been a while. So,
Paz,
quick
Paz.
question.
Oh, Paz. Yeah. You're the guy from New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey. Yeah. So I got a question for you. Do you know female dating strategy?
Do I know what?
Female dating strategy.
Female dating strategy. What are you
So
referring
it's-
to exactly?
So there's a subreddit of like essentially imagine incels, but it's on the women's side, and they have a theory of high value men and low value men. Where high value men are the ones that are like handsome, rich, good looking. And
Yeah,
you should
yeah.
try to attain that instead of the low value men, which are like fat, worthless losers that don't make any money and all that stuff. So do you agree with that?
Here's the problem with your argument. What women consider what women consider low value is different than what a man considers low value in a woman. See what women consider low value is like what I talk about all the time. A guy who looks like a Melvin or an Urkel. And it has very little to do with body weight. It has to do with facial symmetry and height.
Okay. Quick question for you though.
Be-
It
be-
doesn't
be-
really
be-
matter
be-
what men. No. Check it. It doesn't really matter what men think because wouldn't you agree that the women control the sexual economy in the United States? Like it's with women.
They do. They have way more control than they
then
should
why
have.
So then, why does the opinion of men matter? We're talking about the appearance of high value men from the perspective of women. Do you believe in that theory that women
Oh yes,
think
yes. Yeah. And what women deem as high value men, um, unless she's a resource hunter. I hate the term gold digger because I hate gold. I don't believe in gold at all. But that's another topic.
What? Like it doesn't exist, or you don't think it's a valuable resource? What does that mean?
Gold is a garbage resource that has no value at all, and we shouldn't be
It's used in every semiconductor ever, Harden. What do you mean? It's like your iPhone, the computer that you're using right now to talk to us, it has gold in it.
They use gold in computers?
Yeah. This is the reason why Apple will collect old phones from people when they buy a new one. It's because they recycle the gold out of it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I guess that is one legitimate use for gold.
Did you think people just like gold because it's sparkly and nice to look at? It's like an actual metal that has lots of uses.
Well, the thing is, well over 90% of gold that's mined is used for either stupid money coins or jewelry.
Listen, Listen,
But
okay,
but
what you're
that
saying
that
right now
that's
is
another
very
topic.
offensive against my people, and I'm willing to let it slide. I just want your answer
What?
to my question. What you said about gold was very offensive, and it really hurts me to the core. So, it's really upsetting to my
I
people,
have
but
a
I'll let
question.
that slide.
So,
So,
what
what
Uh-oh.
happens? Yeah, go ahead, Kaya.
I was gonna say, what Pez brought up with the female dating strategy, these women. So, I guess my broader question is, what qualities do you think a woman should seek in a man? Then, Harden, like, what's acceptable? Because, to me, if I sometimes check out those sub forums where the women talk, and it's like, yeah, I want a man who actually showers and shit and earns money and takes care of me, which is fair.
Eh, yeah. Oh man. Yeah. No.
Well, I
No.
done it
No.
now,
No.
huh?
Now that sounds just like these scam dating coaches. These stupid PUAs. Just take a shower, bro. Come on, man. Do you really think there's that many? As when you look how big the black pill community is in the West, and how it keeps growing, you really think there's that many men within the ranks of the black pill community who are living caveman style?
Yes, I think there's a lot of stinky men, and I can
I
prove this to
I
you
don't believe it.
because
I don't believe it. I don't
Harden,
believe
do you
it.
know what
I
Comic
don't.
Con is? Do you know those comic book conventions? They literally have rules telling attendees that they must shower before coming. It's in the rule book. That's how bad it is sometimes. Yes.
Yeah.
Those dudes exist. I don't know why you're laughing. I don't know why you think stinky men don't exist or clueless men who've never, had female friends to tell them, hey, you kind of stink, like use deodorant.
Oh,
Also,
boy.
Harden, I have a
Um.
question for you. Quick question for you as well. So first of all, it's actually two things. One, thank you for. Recently, I've gotten a girlfriend, and I'm very thankful because you helped me a lot. I did
How?
everything that you said not to do, and I got a girlfriend. So thank you very much. And the second one
Like
is
what? Like what?
like I put myself out there. I paid for stuff. I tried to be nice to her. I put I went on dating sites that you told me would fail, and it worked out. But my question for you is, you agreed with me that high value men are the only ones that can get women, right?
Um.
No, hang on.
Yeah.
Because Harden also thinks about the oofy doofy theory where dummies also get women, right? Like low value
Well,
idiots.
that's true.
No,
So which
no,
one
no.
is it?
That's held by the Dashboard Lights theory,
Oh, my bad.
which I'm very skeptical. I'm very skeptical of that theory. Yeah, that's actually one of the things that I disagree with him on. I'm very skeptical of that theory.
Okay, so
But anyway, go on.
you agree that a high value man, makes lots of money, physically fit, super charming, like he's the only one that can get a girlfriend nowadays, right?
um, not the only one, but he's definitely getting pussy a lot easier,
Okay.
a lot easier than
Well, yeah, that's
than
fair.
than men that women consider low value.
Okay,
You guys,
so
you
but
guys
the
keep
thing
talking. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
the thing is that classically I would be considered a low value male. I'm like a fat fuck. I'm I have like a stutter. I don't have a job, all that stuff. By your theory, I should not have this girlfriend. Oh, so how do you like
He's the opposite of Brady, if that puts it into perspective. I don't
Yeah.
know what you think about Brady Harden.
Yeah, exactly.
Brady's a Chad. Brady's
Yes,
a
and I'm the
Chad.
opposite of Brady. I'm the
Chaz is the opposite.
Yeah, how is it that Brady does not have a girlfriend, but I do?
So you, so you're saying you're in the Melvin category?
Yeah, that ass. Dude, I'm a Melvin. I'm fat.
Oh.
That ass like literally autistic. How does he not have a girlfriend, but I do? Like I'm about to engage, like propose
It,
in like three
it's been
months.
it's been a long time since I've seen your face, Chaz. I can't remember, or Paz. I can't remember what your face looks
Yeah.
like, but how would you compare yourself facially? You know, in terms of facial symmetry,
Oh, he
are
looks way
you?
better. Dude, that ass, he looks way better. And also, I have a quick question. I forget, are you pro or against interracial dating?
Um, in in, in interracial dating, that's nobody's business.
That's nobody's business?
That's nobody's business. No, no.
Yeah, he's not
Correct.
racist or anything.
He's not racist. He wasn't talking
No.
shit about black people, no.
No,
But
that was the woman's point of view. That wasn't his point of view.
I see.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, go ahead, Paz. Did you have another question?
anyway, my question is, how do you like address the hypocrisy, like that Brady has a girlfriend, doesn't have a girlfriend, but I do, and that Brady's just like sitting alone doing nothing, while I'm, sitting much happier than him, even though that he's in a
Did you
better
come on
life.
just to dunk on Brady?
Yes, I know it. Like
Well, Paz. Let me ask you this. How so is your girlfriend at least at your looks match level, or would you or would you say would you say she's above your looks level?
she's like an 8. Also,
Oh, she's an
very
8.
she's very in the, like, also would be considered in demand according to evolutionary sexual theory.
Oh, okay. Um, okay. So she's got a real good body shape then. So she would be good for she'd be good breeding stock to have children with. You're definitely doing good for yourself then yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you're punching
The
above
kids call
your
it being thick, Harden. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
thick.
But what is the quality of your relationship? What's the quality
Amazing.
of your relationship like?
Amazing. But also, quick digression. I just remembered something. What do you think about the death of Kevin Samuels? Did he put? Did he?
Who?
I don't know how he died. I don't know how he died. How did he die?
Like, what do you think of Kevin Samuels? He was dating coach
I
for
know
the African American community.
I know who Kevin Samuels was, yeah, but I want to know how he died though. I know he died
He
like
died of
2-3 months ago.
Well, he died of a heart attack, but honestly, probably the government got him. He was spitting too much truth, you know?
Mm.
Okay, you guys are talking about shit none of us know anything about now. So, Paz, any other questions?
Anyway.
Otherwise, I'm gonna go to the next caller.
No, have a good day. Peace.
Okay, thank you.
Alright.
Cold Harbor, you're up next. If you still want to talk.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yo. Hey. Thanks for having me on. So, I'm just like, I'm just gonna try and be quick about it. I'm just kind of cut the crap here. So, like, Harden, tell me what in a relationship setting, would you bring to the table? What kind of value do you have in that sort of setting? Because you're very quick to judge others, and you're very quick to analyze it, if you can call it that.
I agree with you. I judge the shit out of Western women, mainly Western women.
Okay,
women.
so why would a woman, Western or otherwise?
Because women in Nigeria and Uganda and places like that are way in the fuck more loyal to their society than these prissy little bitches in the West.
All right. Okay. So tell me, why would a woman in Nigeria or Uganda, one of these loyal bitches, have any interest in you? What would you bring to that? Like, if they can bring you loyalty and love and all that other bullshit, what can you bring them that would attract them to you as a person?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I just feel like you're just very quick to point fingers at other people, but like, where is your value?
And could I also attach like addendum to his question? Do you think Nigerian women, for example, just do you think they
Yeah.
would value you more than Western women? Do you think your odds would be better with them?
Me personally, I don't know. I don't know. That's a difficult question to answer because the thing is, most Western expats who are going to third world countries to find pussy, these are not Chads,
I agree.
these are not Chads and Tyrones. These are men who are in the Melvin and Urkel category. These are men who are unsuccessful with women in their home countries, um, and these are also generally speaking men who have significant financial means.
I agree, and I think that's really scummy of them a lot. So I watch a show called 90 Day Fiancé, and what you will see regularly is a white guy, middle or upper class from America, who cannot find a woman in America, so instead he travels to like the Philippines, and he picks
Yeah.
himself a nice slum flower, some girl who's never seen more than $10 in her life, and he fucking marries her. And it's like, you're basically just buying a human being here, like, let's be honest, right? But to get back to Cold Harbor's question, what do you think you would bring to the table in a relationship?
That's a well that's that's a difficult question to answer because I would not be able to easily travel to a third world country like these rich fucks can do, and keep in mind these girls that they're picking up from these third world countries. It's not because they love these guys. It's because it's
They're
because
desperate.
it's because they want the economic opportunities the economic opportunities that these guys can offer. Um, I think the intelligent thing to do if a guy is going to do that, if you're going to go to a third world country to find a woman to marry, is do not bring her back to your home country. Keep her there. Keep her there. Take up permanent residency there, and get yourself a nice condo, house, whatever the hell.
Okay, you kind of
Um,
avoided the question, Harden. Like, the point still is, do you think you have, like, any qualities that women in the West are overlooking that you think is unfair? That you think you should be valued for, that they have been, I guess, manipulated by sitcoms or whatever into not recognizing?
um,
Like, do you think you would make a good husband or a boyfriend?
I think I would, yeah, but I don't want to make this about me, though. I'm talking about a societal issue, so I like to keep
Okay,
myself out of
but
the equation.
you're the one who made this personal to Paz when he was asking questions, and so he said himself that he is a low value male according to these women. So,
Yeah, I was sure surprised to hear Paz turn into a triggered SJW snowflake.
I
You
don't know, I thought
talking
that
you
he had
talking
some pretty
down
good
on
points.
gold? That's offensive.
I think that was a
Okay,
joke.
Yeah. And even besides the whole electronics thing, I mean, gold's been valuable for thousands of years because it looks pretty. The same reason literally anything was valuable back then. And that
And it's because
aside,
it's a
like,
scarce resource. Like, you can't print new gold. That's also one of the reasons
Exactly.
it's been used as currency.
So, my question stands: would you consider yourself a low value or a high value male, and why?
Um,
A simple question.
It depends. It depends on on what criteria you're using for low value versus high value. So okay, me personally, I think I would be very good as a father, you know, because because I would take the well-being of my children as serious as I do the well-being
Harden, we just
of my
spent
cat.
Harden, we just spent like half an hour talking about why alimony is shit and you wouldn't want to pay child support. Like, a woman that hears that isn't going to be very keen on having kids with you. Like, it's not as if you should date someone with the intention or the expectancy that you're going to break up anyway, but nonetheless, it does
Yeah,
show
yeah, yeah.
that you would
Well,
rather spitefully let your ex-wife suffer in squalor than take care of your kid, I guess.
Yeah, and your child as well.
her, not the child. No, her. Yeah,
Yeah, but
her. Yeah.
yeah, but Harden, that's the same thing. If you're like, fuck you, I'm not paying you a single dime, then by extension the child also suffers. How will you take care of it if you don't actually provide for it?
So the the reason why I don't personally put in the effort into finding a woman to marry. If I was living in a third world country, I I possibly would, but not in this country, because what would be stopping her from, once she meets a man who's better looking than me, or or a man. And see, this is the dilemma that virtually every man in the West is in. I can't speak.
So
I can't speak to Paz's situation. You know, I can only go by what he's claiming. You know, if
Yeah, but Harden, there's always
um,
someone better looking than you. That's a dilemma we're all in. If you're with a woman, she also has to worry that maybe you're going to cheat on her with a better looking woman. The point is, in a relationship, you're supposed to be in a relationship with people you trust not to do that to you.
yeah, so
That you love for more
like,
than just looks.
I gotta quickly ask, Harden, like, have you ever been in a relationship?
yeah,
Have you? Yeah, you have fallen for a woman who is also fallen for you.
yeah.
All right. So, like, because the way that you're answering right now makes it sound like you're just trying to catch them in a box, and you're just hoping they don't run away when you open that box. And it sounds very much like you've never been within 10 feet of a woman. I'm not trying to be a dick, but, you know, that's just the way I'm getting. And, like...
Okay. All right.
I had like one more thing about the whole divorce thing before. I was just listening to the kitchen
Okay,
before,
go
so that
ahead.
I can finally actually comment on it now. So with that whole thing, I have a friend who went through a really messy divorce recently, but he was the one who walked out in the end. So it was, I would say that it was not her
Oh,
fault.
so he was in the 30% minority. 70% of divorces are initiated by women. So your friend was in the 30% minority.
That's still a sizable chunk.
Yeah, you said before that virtually all divorces are started by women. 30% is that's still a third of it. Like, that's a shitload.
Yeah. Statistically, 50% of marriages end in divorce, and 70% of those divorces are initiated by women.
Because men are generally abusive and shitty in those divorces.
Okay, if you want to go with that feminist talking point.
I will. I'm generally not a feminist. I would rather call myself a bigot than a feminist. But like, a lot of those divorces are because
but you're using a feminist talking point.
Yeah, but I mean, even a broken clock can be right twice a day. That doesn't matter if it's a feminist talking point. You can't possibly think that, like, all divorce is only ever the fault of women.
Yeah, I mean, just because a woman initiates the divorce, gets the paperwork, doesn't mean the man wasn't beating the shit out of her or the kids or verbally abusing her. That is a lot of what goes on behind the scenes there. And it doesn't really matter who's, like, clearly you've never been through a divorce or, I guess, never been near somebody, but it doesn't
I've never
matter.
been married. I've never been
Yeah.
married. No.
Clearly, but it doesn't matter who initiates the divorce. Everybody on both sides is shitty. There's very rarely a clean break. There's always a lot of animosity going on. So pointing all of the blame on the women is just utter bullshit, because even if she cheats on the man, even if she walks out during the divorce process, there is so much flack being sent back and forth that just putting it on one party or the other is completely absurd. And I just think that it's ridiculous that you can just make these statements having virtually no experience or knowledge with them.
Okay, I'll let Harden reply. In the meantime, I will queue up the next caller. Unless you had another question as well, Harbor.
No, I'm all good.
Okay, thank you. And Fright Lemon, you're next. Harden, do you have a response?
Take the next question.
Have a good one, dudes.
No comments? Okay.
No.
Okay, Paz, Paz, you have like 2 sentences. Don't make it too long. Where is he?
Okay, just a quick question. First of all, I really do not appreciate you calling me an SJW snowflake. Dude, I come from a super conservative culture, and like, dude, if the guys who hate women are more progressive on women than you, then you got a real problem, dude. Like, I'm not trying to shit on you or anything, but calling me an SJW is really weird, to be honest, when I'm like the least SJW person
That insulted
that a
you,
lot
huh?
of people know. Dude, it's just stupid. Like, dude, I come from a culture where women cannot initiate divorce, where the man has to allow the woman to divorce. And if the man doesn't allow the woman to divorce, we beat him to a pulp until he lets him.
Israel is Israel since when? Since when?
We've been doing this for thousands of years. If the wife wants a divorce and the husband refuses to give it,
Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Israel in modern time is just like the West.
No, I'm talking about the Jewish religion. I'm not talking about Israel. Israel is not the Jewish religion. You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is, you have to be really, really fucked up if the people who don't give women agency are more progressive and more SJW than you. You know what I'm saying?
All right, next caller. Thank you, Paz. All right, Fright Lemon, you're up.
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
I got
Oi.
about one question. No, 2. First one, have you ever truly felt the loving embrace of a woman who wasn't your mother? It doesn't sound like you have.
What's your question again?
Have you ever felt the loving embrace of a woman?
Oh, I've had affection from women. Yes. Yeah,
That's not what I
women
asked.
women I've dated.
I
Yeah.
asked-
Yeah, from women
I
I've
asked about
dated.
a
Yes.
question. Ah, man, I feel sorry for them. Another one. How much do you make a year? Because you seem to act like you have a lot to bring to the table, but then you say the complete opposite. You say that, oh, these rich fuckers, they can go wherever they want. They go to the Middle East or third world countries to get women. How much money do you make a year if you're acting like you can go anywhere in the world and get a woman?
I was referring to guys in the black pill community, who go to third world countries to find women to marry and have families with. these guys are able to do that is because they have significant financial means, because that is an extremely expensive undertaking.
Okay, would you do it if you had the means?
That's a difficult question to answer, because I don't know if I would want to live in a third world country. And the thing is, the only way that I can see that working, which by the way is why most of the guys in the black pill community who are going that route, they go and live in these third world countries permanently. They don't, once they
Wouldn't the
find
bigger
themselves
issue be that if you do find a woman there, she would only be loving you because of your money? Wouldn't that bother you?
It would bother me. Yeah, yeah. But the upside would be passing for a man to pass on his genes. I think that would bother any man. Yeah, something's wrong if you're a man and that's not bothering you. But the upside to that is getting to pass on your genes. So effectively, you are following the rules of evolution, because your genes are psychotic by nature, because your genes don't care about your well-being.
Right. Which
They
is
they they
why
don't
women
they
sometimes
don't
die in childbirth, because evolution doesn't give a shit as long as you have a baby. Full circle.
So I have a question. Does this mean that you're just not gonna have kids ever? Like you're never gonna be with a woman? Because you say you hate Western women, but you also say you don't want to live in those countries, and that's the only way these men get these women. So where does that leave you? What's gonna happen? Are you just not gonna have a woman ever?
um you know the um the reason I would be apprehensive about going to live in a third world country is because um not because I see my standard of living going down, because if you're a rich fuck, you can go live in a third world country and
Well,
enjoy
you're
a
not. So
hold
you're
on,
not gonna do that.
let me finish my point. If you're a rich fuck, you can go live in a third world country and enjoy a comparable standard of living to the West, because because like I was saying before, these countries that people in the West like to make fun of have modern cities. So you could
Okay, but
go.
do you think this is your only option, is going to the third world to pick up a girl there? Like, do you not at all... Have you already ruled out and given up on Western women? Or women in your, like, states, let's say? Do you try
Um,
dating sites at all? Like, OkCupid and... what the fuck is the other one? Plenty of Fish and all those sites?
I do mess around on OkCupid. Okay, occasionally, and I have video chatted with some sexy looking girls from um uh, from different African countries. Um, um, one of them was from Kenya. But the
That's
but
not what
but
he
the
asked.
pattern.
He asked about Western women. He asked about Western women. People in your own state. People
Yeah, I was
in,
wondering
this,
if
in
you
the very
ruled
least of
out...
America.
yeah, Americans already. Or if you've completely given up on that.
You know what? Anything is possible. You never know what the future holds. But from what my experience has been up to this point, Western women are just simply not worth the squeeze.
So you've resigned yourself to being alone for the rest of your life.
Again, you you never know what the future beholds. Anything
That's
is
not what I
possible in the
said.
future.
You've accepted the fact that you may be alone for the rest of your life.
It's possible, yes.
That's
But you're also
sad,
acting
man.
as if like Nigerian women or whatever are the only ones that are still into the traditional, I guess, men women roles that you're into. You can find plenty of those types of women in the West too.
Well, no, I point to
Traditional
African.
women.
Well, no, I point to African countries as a good example of a healthy society, a well functioning society. Despite the fact that those are very high crime countries, but that's another topic.
No, but my point is you can
But
also find women who think like you in America. Well, not maybe not think like you specifically, but I mean traditional who think that divorce is generally bad. One man, one woman. Men should, I should devote myself to my husband and whatnot. Like those people do exist in America. Plenty of them.
well, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. See, the reason why I'm impressed by African countries is see, when you look at any country where there's such an insanely high childbirth rate like African countries, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. That's a sign of a society where you don't have this rift between the genders like you have in the West.
They also have a really high rate of rape and like HIV and childbirth. That's not like exclusively a great thing. It just simply means that in a lot of parts of those places, people don't know what contraception is or safe sex.
Kaya, come on, man. Do you really believe? Do you really believe that in these countries with modern cities, modern developed cities like Nairobi, Lagos, Harare, you know, where you can look at video documentaries produced in these countries, and you see people walking around with fucking smartphones, maybe not iPhones, because because the average income in these countries is extremely low, and iPhones are overpriced. iPhones are outrageously expensive, but
I don't know how we got from like birth rate to iPhones all of a sudden, but my point simply is like
I'm saying, do you really believe that in societies where they have modern cities, where they have fancy restaurants, they have most of the other amenities that we take for granted in the West? You
Yeah, but
really
you're talking about an
believe
entire
that
country.
you really believe that these folks don't know what contraception is? Are you serious?
I'm not
Are you
talking about
serious?
the
The
developed
people in the
parts of
country.
it. I was talking in the grander scheme of the third world, not just like Africa, but many parts of the third world, which we call so. Yes, I do think a lot of them they don't have easy access to contraception. Yeah, this is also why like STDs are rampant in those parts. There's literally
So,
why we call them the third world because they're not as
so,
developed.
so you're telling me in cities like Lagos and Nairobi,
I literally
uh,
said not in the developed parts. Sure, if you want a girl from like Nairobi or Lagos or where the hell that is, but I'm okay. Then by that logic, though, why? Again, you can find traditional women in America too, and other parts of like the developed world. Like I'm sure you could find some in Germany and Sweden. I don't know why you think like every woman in the West has been tarnished by feminism to the point that you cannot ever find a woman anymore that isn't that doesn't want to get divorced or fuck around on you or use you.
I'm not arguing that every woman in the West is like that, but but the the thing is, when the odds are stacked so much against you, in that type of search, when 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 the odds of finding a woman, sure you can find a woman who's not like that in the West. They exist. I'm not saying they don't, but it's your odds of of striking it lucky and finding a woman like that, I would say, are comparable to your odds of winning Powerball. Now for folks outside of America, Powerball is the national lottery game
Mm-hmm.
in America. It's a multi-state game. It's shared by, I think, 40 or 50 states or something like that. And the Powerball jackpots often get as high as like 300, 350,
Okay, man, you go.
400
Okay,
million
all right, that's
dollars.
rare. Is your point?
Well,
Lemon, did you want to
the
have a
odds,
last question?
the odds of winning the Powerball jackpot, yeah, are like some billions to one. It's extremely rare. That's why I think people who buy Powerball tickets are out of their damn
Alright, buddy, we
minds.
get
But
it.
that's
It's
another
rare.
topic.
We don't care about the Powerball.
All right. Thank you, Lemon. Did you have anything else to ask?
No.
Okay, well, thank you for calling in. And it looks like Skelly McTelly is next. Let me find you. There you go. Unmute it. Skelly?
Hello.
There you
Can
go.
you guys
Hi.
hear me?
Yep.
Boy,
Yeah. I just wanted to ask a question. It might be a bit personal, but is that okay?
Come again?
I just wanted to ask you, like, how many relationships have you been in your life?
how
Pardon?
many relationships? A few.
And in those relationships, how many have you broken up, and how many have the girl broken up in? Do you
What's
break
the
up more than a woman?
do I what?
Do you feel like you're the reason for your relationships ending, or is it the fault of the woman?
Well, again, I don't want to make this, I don't want to make the, I don't want to make this about me, because my objective is to bring awareness to a societal issue. I'll just say in general, um, for from what my observations have been, in in most breakups in relationships, whether it's a marriage or just a boyfriend girlfriend relationship, it's the woman who's initiating the breakup, not the guy.
Yeah, but do you feel the reason is the fault of the woman, or do you think it's because something the guy did and the guy is at fault in most relationships?
Well, most of the time, these women are choosing to end the relationship because maybe because women have been given all the power in the modern day West. So we live in the era of "you go, girl," and women are very quick. Women are very quick because it's their nature. It's their nature. They're very quick to drop their guy the moment they find a handsome guy. If their current boyfriend is not very handsome, or or the or the moment or the moment they find a rich fucker to mooch off of.
Hmm. Okay.
Well,
There's not that many guys outside of your Chad and Tyrone tier guys who really are initiating breakups because men simply do not have that advantage in the modern day West.
I think a lot of
Men,
people are just scared
wanted
of
to add.
men, men,
breaking up.
men, men don't have those kind of options like that.
Hmm.
I just
So-
wanted to add that I'm from a third world country, and yeah, you don't want to move here. I mean, just stay in the USA. USA is better. That's
What
about it.
what country? What country,
The-
if you don't mind?
Algeria, North Africa.
Algeria. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's about it
Okay.
for what I have to say.
All right.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Skelly. And I need to check who is next. Give me one sec. A lot of people want to talk to you now, Harden.
Oh, really?
Kumquat. Yeah, we got quite a few. Let me see. Yeah, we have like
Kumquat.
270 listeners.
Kumquat. That's a very tasty fruit. That's a small citrus fruit.
Kumquat. I thought that was like baby frogs or something. Or am I
No,
thinking of
it's a small-
something else?
He's actually
No,
right.
no, no,
Oh.
no. It's a real small citrus fruit.
All right, well, hello, Kumquat.
Hello. I just have a few questions. Why you seem to base so much of your reasoning on stuff that you can only see with your own eyes, like there's less kids because you don't see them playing on the playground, or oh, this is how families work because I see this on sitcoms.
Well, the point I was making is it's very bizarre to see literally no children on playgrounds and to see whenever a school bus is driving by, the school bus is only half full. So those are the kind of signs that are we still connected? I'm hearing static. Okay. Yeah. So
no, we're good.
Yeah. Those are the kind of signs. Those are the kind of signs that I'm looking at, and yeah, I've heard the argument that, well, it's modern, it's modern internet age. Everybody's doing online gaming. I don't believe that, because nobody is doing online gaming. I know that online gaming is super popular. I'm not disputing that, but nobody is doing that 24 hours. Nobody's
you'd be
doing
surprised.
that 24 hours. No way. No way. No, I mean, even these professional online gamers who actually make a living doing that on websites like Twitch and whatnot, they're not at that 24 hours. They're still getting outside to get some fresh air.
No, that's not true, but that's
So, and for these women in Africa, are you thinking they're a lot more loyal than just women in the West?
Yeah, what are you gonna do if an African
Well-
woman cheats on you?
Well, certainly, I would say certainly in sub-Saharan Africa, yes. Now, I don't know about northern Africa, like Egypt and Tunisia and those places, because those countries are now starting to have the same problems as the West. But so when I say Africa, I'm referring to sub-Saharan Africa. So I'm talking about places like Nigeria, Kenya, Togo, Ghana.
Well, Harden, the reason for
Cameroon,
that
places like that.
is that the more developed a city or nation becomes, the more choices women generally have about their own lives. They have more freedom to make decisions about who they want to date and have children with. As opposed to places where there's still arranged marriages and a woman's fate is decided for her when she's like 10 years old.
Wait, so you're arguing in places like Nigeria and Kenya and Togo and Cameroon and Senegal that females are being married off at age 10?
I don't know about those places specifically, but yes, in the third world there is a thing called arranged marriages that happens where young girls are basically betrothed to young boys. It's called an arranged marriage. It's a thing that happens. And I'm saying that in more developed countries or in third world countries that are becoming more developed, women eventually get more control over their own lives. They actually get a say. This is why in the West, women actually have the option of saying, no, I don't like this guy. He beats me and I want a divorce. Whereas in many other countries in the third world, they don't even have that choice.
Kaya, I don't know where you get this idea that that women in the West are only initiating divorce because the husband is beating them.
Well, I'm not saying that's the only reason. I'm just saying they have the choice regardless. Maybe she just doesn't like his fucking haircut. The point is, she has that option. Whereas in many third world countries, the woman, if she says, I want a divorce, she gets told, no, fuck you. Too bad. Even if she's getting beaten by the daily. Like, that's the point. You don't want to live in a third world country, as you said. You're not sure if you would ever want to move and live in one of those places. But if you want modernity, you'll have to deal with the fact that women also get more freedom.
So, yeah, so here's the reason why I personally would be apprehensive about going to live in a third world country. A lot of Western expats in countries like say Thailand, for example, are really catching hell from the native men because local men in those countries really resent Western expats for taking their women.
Yeah, no shit.
And well,
They just bring a
well,
lot of money
and
and that they'll never be able to have.
Yeah,
well,
you're basically shopping for a puppy in a shelter. That's like,
well,
yeah, I would be angry too.
Yeah, and a lot of Western expats in those countries are being targeted for violence, for violence from from locals. So the risk of having a violent conflict, and the risk of violence aside, you're going to be frequently the subject of just hostility of hostility from local men, because see, if you're a Western expat in if you're a Western expat in one of these in one of these third world countries, you're being seen as, oh man, another Western expat taking one of our women. Damn it, that's how that's how they view you. And there's stories that you can go to YouTube and listen to stories from guys in the black pill community who have tried it, who have tried living as expats in third world countries, and they advise against it because of the negative experiences that they themselves have had.
Yeah, I don't really think that they're the victims here, but fair enough. Kumquat, did you have a follow-up?
Yes, this
Okay.
is just a different topic, but for you, I'm guessing it just baffles you that like the rate of homosexuality in Western countries is so much higher than places like Africa.
Oh, it's orders of magnitude higher. You kidding? Hell yeah, orders of magnitude higher.
Have you considered the reason that being gay in those countries can lead to you literally being killed?
I don't think it's that reason alone. No, I think
Well, no, not.
no.
But that's a big reason why people might not identify and
Yeah.
they will try to hide it.
Like, if you're in Iran, you're not openly going to reply to surveys or, like, government polls saying, yeah, I'm gay, and then get fucking institutionalized or something.
Well, yeah. There's definitely an almost zero social acceptance of a man being a homo in those countries. I'm not disputing that, but beyond just that though, be, um, in countries where there's better relations between the genders, where you don't have this intense rift between the genders like we have in the West. Now this is just me speculating, but I believe in a society like that, men tend to be more manly, tend to have higher levels of testosterone, and are going to be generally speaking less prone to having homo tendencies. Because if we look at the transgender phenomenon, for example, that is rampant now in the West, that's virtually unheard of in third world countries. And that's controlling for socioeconomics. That's controlling for socioeconomics. You're not seeing rich guys in Nigeria or Kenya getting gender reassignment surgery. It's not happening.
You see it in
It's
Iran.
just not happening. Why?
In Iran, the government is so homophobic that if they catch you being gay, they will forcibly transition you. This is a thing that happens. Like, on the government dime, they will give you sex reassignment surgery.
What on earth is the sense in that?
I'm just telling you how it is, man. That's how fucking homophobic they are. They'd rather just, like, fucking forcibly turn you into a woman than have a gay man walking around.
Gender reassignment surgery should only be given to someone who was born hermaphrodite. That's literally the only legitimate use for that kind of surgery. Anything other than that is a waste of the medical system. That's a
Why do you
waste. That's a
care?
wasteful use of a
Especially
hospital.
if they're paying money, especially if they're paying that money to get it, why do you care?
I care because it's a wasteful use of a hospital. That's why. That's taking doctors, nurses, surgical techs, and other orderlies and other medical professionals like that away from patients who really need the services of those professionals for actual legitimate causes.
Yeah, but
It's
by
a
that logic,
waste.
we should ban all, like, cosmetic surgery as well, or, like, reconstructive surgery. Say, if a woman gets acid thrown in her face, then I guess she shouldn't receive surgery that she doesn't need to fix her face.
No, I'm not. No. That would be a legitimate medical cause.
Okay, what about getting tits? Bigger tits?
Yeah, that's a wasteful use of a hospital.
You don't want women to have bigger tits, though?
Breast augmentation, that's a wasteful use of a hospital. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm specifically talking about transgenderism because people getting and that's why if your information is accurate about Iran, if your information is accurate, that really surprises me. That surprises me. That surprises me that a country like Iran, would actually allow for such a wasteful use of a hospital.
I'm telling you, it's not just allowed; it's mandatory. Again, if they catch you being gay, it's bizarre.
And that's what I'm saying. That's even worse. Yeah, and I find that surprising that a country like like Iran would actually mandate such a wasteful use of their medical system. That they would mandate
really
that.
it surprises you that a government might be wasteful with its resources, because that's like the most government thing to do. It's very natural to me.
And for what is a mental health issue.
Well, I mean, they don't really have mental health
That
services
is
over there.
a-
I don't think so.
That is a mental health issue. That's a mental health issue. And
All right, let me see.
before SJWs started taking control of science, gender dysphoria actually used to be listed in the DSM, and that really should be put back. That should be put back in the DSM. But unfortunately,
A lot of
SJWs in modern time have a scary level of influence over science. So now science has to be politically correct, or scientists can face losing their jobs. But the vast majority of people who are getting gender reassignment surgery are getting it for mental health reasons. And they should be getting therapy, not surgery. The only legitimate use for gender reassignment surgery is for someone who is born hermaphrodite. That's it. Anything other than that is a wasteful use of a medical system.
when you say a wasteful use, it's not going to be brain surgeons or general practitioners who are being taken away from their time. It's going to be people who are already trying to specialize in stuff like that, I would think.
It's mainly endocrine surgeons or endocrinologists.
Okay.
And I'm saying there's much better uses of that talent than to provide life-altering surgery for someone with a mental health problem. That is insane.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Thank you, Kumquat. Let's see who's next. People in the chat are fighting over who's next. I can't make
Really?
heads or tails. Yeah. Let me see.
Oh, really? So the snowflakes in your audience are triggered that badly.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say that I have many snowflakes in my audience, but
Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes.
well, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. Otto, are you a snowflake? Are you how triggered are you?
I'm pretty damn triggered.
All right. What's your question?
Hardin, what would your dream girl be?
Ooh, I like that question.
What would my dream girl
So
be?
would it be like a trad wife, or like what are you looking at?
A trad wife up to a point. Because if she's one of these trad cons, who says conserve everything, just conservative just for the damn sake of being conservative, conserve everything. I actually, as a vegan activist, I have utter fucking contempt for conservatives, for the conservative community, and the reason being is because every fucking thing that is morally reprehensible, whether it's hunting, fishing, animal agriculture, vivisection, all that shit, or whether it's the human on human atrocities that we've had in the past. You'll notice, like with the gladiator sport.
Man, you
in
have this
Rome-
ability to like go on the wildest tangents. He just asked what your dream woman is, and now we're talking about gladiators. Like, just Hardin, keep it simple. Like blonde, brunettes, tall, short. What her attitude towards like?
no, the only point I was making is that there's something about the conservative ideology
Okay, you hate
that's
trans-
Okay, so not all right. So not
that's just so
conservatives.
fucking perverse. That's so fucking perverse.
Okay,
man.
Harden, you
That-
don't have to
hate,
like
like,
one by one
yeah.
rule out who you don't like. Like, tell us what kind of a woman you do like.
But some elements of conservativeness, yes, but you know, but not to the point of wanting to conserve every fucking thing just because, well, tradition though, you know, fuck off
Okay,
to that.
wait, hang on. Okay,
But
so
but
what about-
some elements of conservativeness. Some.
Okay, which
some.
elements? That's
Okay,
what he's
yeah.
asking.
Well, also, like, what about physical appearance as well to you? Surely you're not just like, they could be like a 400-pound like turd and can still be conservative. Surely.
I don't know where conservatives get the idea that they have a monopoly on attractive women. I've seen plenty of ugly conservative women, plenty.
Sure. But what kind are you into?
Obviously.
Is this question?
So my ideal wife, if yeah, I mean, if that option was available, would be, you know, would be someone first and foremost of good genetic stock. Yeah. So first and foremost, a woman who will choose breastfeeding over bottle feeding formula, you know, to her infant child. So because that's a sign right there of a woman with intact primal instincts, you know.
I mean, most women who do bottle feed don't do it because they just want to. Usually it's because they can't breastfeed for whatever reason. Sometimes, you know, sometimes
Yeah,
pregnant
like,
women, they
using a
don't
breast
lactate
pump,
or
is that, like-
whatnot.
Is using a breast pump like not good then?
That's definitely better than you know, than that garbage formula stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so she should breastfeed, and what else?
Have big feet?
Yeah.
Like, so what like kind of genetics do you want?
Big feet.
Yeah.
Big feet? No, hell no. That's
You want,
that's like
good looking feet. What is your
That's
like,
like a-
ideal genetic
that's like a
like
man.
pool to choose from? Like birth giving hips.
Yes. Yeah. Height. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Good childbearing hips. Height, weight proportionate.
So do you never like
And-
look to their like is this
and-
like a good companion? Do you only look to like do they have good genetics? Are they conservative? Yes. Then like what's the end goal there?
Yeah, what about personality?
Well, yeah. Is she? Yeah. I'm looking at, you know, is she nurturing? You know, yeah. Just again, does she have natural primal female instincts intact? You know, is she the
there-
opposite? Is she the opposite of these modern feminist woke bitches? Yeah. That's what I'm looking at there. You know, how
Oh,
good
Harden,
is she with how good is she with children? How good is she with pets? How good is she with pets? You know, is she someone who will see an injured squirrel or an injured bird or something like that and try to nurture the creature back to health? Yeah, those are things I'm looking
Harden,
at.
are you an ass man or a breast man?
breasts.
Okay. Ass, breast, or feet?
2 out of the
Chad
3.
is asking. Two out of the three?
3.
Which ones?
2 out of the 3. Feet and breasts.
So you aren't like a buy the tits, marry the ass kind of man. You're like, they need to be all natural.
Yes.
I still don't get it. What it is about feet? Like,
Yeah.
since how long have you
Yeah.
known that you're into feet?
Primally.
Yeah.
Primally, what does that mean?
Huh?
What does that mean primally? To be like okay, so you could say like birth giving hips, she could be a good mother or a good birther, but what about like,
Yeah.
feet? What does that come into play? Perfect feet. What is that?
Well, because a woman's feet are generally smaller than and more petite shape, more delicate, you know, than a man's feet.
So are her
Yeah,
asses?
so you know, so those are signs of femininity.
Yeah, okay, but you can say the same thing about her hands. So why aren't you into hands that much? Why just the feet?
Hands too, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but I assume you don't have as much of a hand fetish as you do with feet, do you?
Not as much, no.
Okay, that's a question. I mean, you can say the same thing about every part of a woman's body, that they're smaller generally. So why specifically the feet, do you think?
I can't answer that. I can't answer that. It's
So it's out of your control. It's not really a conscious thing. So like,
well, you know, being attracted to female feet is really not uncommon. Are you aware that
Oh,
there's a
that I know.
website? There's a website dedicated. It's called Wiki Feet. It's called
I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of that, but I don't know. I am still
Yeah,
baffled you do
I-
not
I-
like women's
I-
asses. It's weird to me.
I spend
yeah, like
sometimes.
why is there no wiki ass for you? I don't.
I spend sometimes too much time on that website.
Doing what? Like, do you just look at actresses' feet?
Yeah.
Damn
day?
straight, yes.
Do you have posters of feet? Oh my god, like, do you have women's photos of their feet in your wallets? Or do you have women send you photos of their feet?
I have, yeah.
So that's the hottest thing on a woman's body, to use her feet.
No, not.
Okay.
No, I would say
Hotter
that.
to you.
I
Okay,
would
what?
say,
Wait, are you into? Would you be into licking feet?
biting them.
Biting them.
Biting. Okay.
Damn right.
Okay, but you don't have an issue in and of itself of putting them in your mouth.
No,
Huh.
but
Okay, what if she's like,
but
Hard Night, I'll only let you
but-
nibble on my feet if you eat my ass first.
but if she's got gorgeous feet, yeah, that's right. That for me is right next to a sexy navel. That's right up there next to a nicely shaped navel.
Okay, well, what if she's like, I'll let you nibble on my navel and my feet if you eat my ass first? Do you say deal?
No.
Really? What if she's like clean and she washed up all nice? It's sparkly.
Yeah, fresh out of the shower, Harden.
Yeah, maybe the outer part, maybe her buttock cheeks, but inside the rectum, no,
So
hell
no tongue punching, just like basic licking for you.
no. On her butt cheeks.
Well, butt cheeks is not ass eating. We're talking about rimming here.
That is not.
No.
So you wouldn't
No.
go near the hole.
No.
What about her
That's
pussy?
disgusting.
They're right next to each other.
Yeah, I'm not into oral sex.
What?
So you don't want your
No.
dick to get sucked? You aren't into that? Okay.
No, no, no. I like
No.
I like feeling the pussy, not her tongue and her lips.
Man, you must have gotten some really shitty blowjobs then.
Well, see, I've never understood where people get the idea that that in order to make sex exciting, that there has to that there has to be oral involved. If you now if you know what you're doing, if you've got skills and you know how to do real good foreplay and stuff. I mean, you can you can give a girl a phenomenal sexual experience. Have her have her G spotting.
G spotting.
Yeah, multiple orgasms.
I mean, but people who are into who like receiving oral, they could say the same thing about feet. Like, why is that exciting? Like, what? Like, to you, what's super exciting about feet? Because probably to the woman, it's not going to be very exciting to just have, like.
I'd argue some feet could be even dirtier than assholes. They're all day in contact with the floor.
Absolutely.
Well, that's different. That's different. No.
How?
No, if you go to Wiki Feet and look
Okay,
at
but
and look at look at those photos of the feet of these actresses and whatnot. They're clean. they're clean. They're not dirty.
Yeah, okay, so you can clean feet just like you can clean an asshole. Yeah, people aren't like shitting 24/7.
That's entirely different.
Why?
Fresh out of the
Because
shower, how's that different than like clean feet?
because the rectum is the body's septic system. That's why would you?
The feet are the body's walking system. What's your point? Neither of them are sexual organs, but humans are perverts and we like fucking them.
Okay, so what's the farthest you've gotten with a woman? Like full on penetration, or like what's the farthest you've ever made it?
Yeah, I've had sex. If that's your question.
Okay, have you made it to feet yet?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. Did the woman,
Nice.
do you know if she found that enjoyable or not?
Yes.
She found it enjoyable?
Yes.
Okay, so why didn't you put a ring on it? That should be your dream girl right there.
Yeah, so you didn't like the woman the feet were attached to? Is that the problem?
No, these were fleeting relationships.
Fleeting feet.
Yeah, the relationships I've had, the moment these girls found, met another guy who was taller than me, or who was taller than me, or who had a lot of money, they were gone. There's been a couple who I could have kept longer if I wanted to, but those girls were both alcoholics and
It's just where they costed more.
and being with an alcoholic, that gets intolerable. That just gets intolerable after a while.
Fair enough. Otto, did you have anything else? Otherwise, I'm gonna move on to Venom.
Yeah, just one more question. So you have like in your little community, you have like a bunch of gang wars. You have the PUAs, you have the Black Pill community. So, like, what's your kind of take on it? What side do you stand closer to?
Um, I think if more men were being honest with themselves, that the black pill community would be a lot bigger than it is. And the black pill community has already outgrown, has already gotten bigger than the MGTOW community. But I think if most guys who identify as MGTOW were being honest with themselves, they would be identifying as black pill.
I think they
Because
would be identifying as incels.
because I can guarantee you, if the vast majority of guys who identify as MGTOW, if they started getting some pussy tomorrow, they would drop the MGTOW label quick.
Well,
And
MGTOW is just men pretending that it was their choice to not get laid. Emphasis on pretending.
Well, that's precisely my point. But the MGTOW community is mostly a community of men who have been sent their own way, not voluntarily going their way, and that's why I'm saying these guys really should be identifying as black pill. I do believe in MGTOW principles, though. I do, yeah. You see, the rules of black pill apply to the sexual marketplace. Everything else, the rules of MGTOW apply. So I do agree with what the MGTOW guys talk about when it comes to the court systems, and how the court systems screw men when a divorce happens.
All right.
But
Otto.
the issue with MGTOW is, you have to ask yourself, why do you not see Chad and Tyrone level guys identifying as MGTOW? You don't. You don't see them. I mean, the very few MGTOW guys who do bother to show themselves on video on YouTube and whatnot, you can tell, you can just tell by how they look. These are guys who should be identifying as black pill, not MGTOW.
All right.
Why not none of the above?
Motherfucker! No, you had your chance. All right. Thank you, Otto. Venom, you're up.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask, why do you focus so much on Africa? Like there are other countries, like Latin America and parts of Asia would be like equally quote unquote base according to your standards.
I don't think we can say that anymore, because feminism has really advanced a lot in the Latin countries. Colombia.
No, but it really has an effect. Maybe on the online, but like in person, if you go to those countries, they're not gonna be like how they are represented online.
I have to disagree with that, because Colombia, for example, they just legalized abortion in that country, and if you look at the news articles from the day that they announced that they announced abortion being legal in Colombia, you see bitches in downtown Bogota cheering, just joyful that, yes, I can now murder my own offspring. Yes.
I mean, but that's clearly in the city. Like the city is going to be different from the overall, like the majority of the country.
Really? So you're telling me in
Are you
Colombia,
no no
it's
okay? Are you gonna no hold on
so
Are you
so
gonna
so so
say
you
that
so
New York
so,
City
so
or LA is an accurate representation of the entirety of America or those states that they're from that they're in?
are you telling me in Colombia that it's only women in Bogota? You know,
No, but I'm
who go?
saying these people on the street that you describe, they're most likely going to be in the cities. You know, you don't see they're not going to be people in rural areas or smaller communities that are doing this shit, which is going to be a majority of the country.
Yeah, he's saying you're judging the entire country, like all the women in the country, based on like a minority of the feminists and liberal women.
Okay, maybe yeah, maybe women in rural areas in Colombia still have natural feminine primal instincts intact, you know, but e- how, with the average guy from the West really want to really want to go to leave his home country and go to someplace like Colombia and live in a rural area.
Well, then you'd you mentioned
I,
sub-Saharan Africa. You'd want to go to and live in sub-Saharan Africa.
um if I was going to resort if I was going to resort to living in Kenya or Nigeria or Ethiopia or someplace to find a wife, sure, sure, I wouldn't mind living in Nairobi or Lagos
Okay, but then what makes that different
or
from a
Lome
rural
or
community in Colombia? I mean, it's probably going to be the same standard of living. Why do you make it different? Why do you differentiate between the two? A. B. I have a follow-up question. Do you specifically do you have a
I
rice
I
fetish? Because
I I
you seem to
doubt
be very focused on on black women.
I doubt rural areas in Colombia are going to be anything comparable to Bogota. I highly doubt that. No way. No way.
No. I mean places in sub-Saharan Africa. Like and do you have any sort of racial fetish towards black women or African women? It seems like you're very focused on African women, even if other places have similar values. Like you went straight to Colombia,
Yeah.
but there are places in Asia that have similar values. You like why specifically African women? Do you have a fetish for them?
Well, because African countries are just a great example of societies where where both men and women have appear to have their natural primal skills intact, where you don't have this rift between the genders.
So you
Uh, uh, uh,
you're viewing African women as more primitive. Is that what you see them more primitive and therefore more pure?
I said primal skills.
Have you seen how these people in sub-Saharan Africa actually live? And have you actually seen it, or are you just basing it on the stereotype as that they're all in tribes?
No, I said primal instincts. I said natural primal instincts intact, meaning meaning like look in Kenya, in someplace like Kenya or in someplace like Kenya or Nigeria, you're not going to see large crowds of women gathering in downtown Nairobi or downtown Lagos chanting "My body, my choice, my body, my choice,
Because they get beat up.
consent, consent, You know, a child is a parasite, and I should be free to remove this fucking parasite from my uterus. You're not gonna see women with that kind of mentality. You're not gonna see crowds of women, you know, holding picket signs and chanting stuff like that in downtown Nairobi or downtown Lome or downtown Lome, which is the capital city of Togo,
You're avoiding,
down.
why not Asia? You're avoiding your reasoning for why not Asia. You explained Colombia, one country in Latin America, but why not Asia? Wouldn't there be, you know, communities and countries in Asia where they still have their quote unquote primal whatever you
Instincts.
call that, primal
Instincts. Yes. Natural primal human instincts.
So why not
Yeah,
Asians? Why
well,
Africans?
yeah,
Do you just like
yes.
black feet?
You like
There's
baby feet?
there's certainly still a lot of traditional you know, natural, you know, communities in countries like Thailand and definitely the Philippines, where you know, where women have their natural female primal instincts intact and want to be mothers, and are gathering in downtown Manila and chanting and holding picket signs chanting "My body, my choice."
All right. Thank you, Venom. I think it's time to wrap up. We've been going for 3 hours. It's 3 a.m. here. I'm tired. Harden, thank you. Was there anything you wanted to... Any last words, Harden?
I'm trying to think. Not really. You know,
Okay.
I just highly encourage folks. I just highly encourage folks in the audience to don't be led by this woke feminist and SJW programming on social media and television and whatnot, and engage in
Ooh.
critical thinking.
You're gonna trigger my audience.
I have one last question.
Sure.
What do you do if you can't find, like, what do you do if their diets don't align with veganism? Like, what are you gonna do if they don't do that? If that's not common, where you in your ideal society? Are you just gonna like deal with it, or are you gonna like force them into veganism? Like,
that would simply be an impasse. Yeah, yeah. If you're talking a girl who's going to eat animal products, then that wouldn't work.
All right.
But but the thing is, in my world, animal products would be outlawed, and and ranches and hunting and slaughterhouses would be punishable by death.
We gotta talk about that next time, man. That's actually interesting. About the vegan activism. Okay, thank you, Venom. Thank you, all callers. Thank you, Harden. And I would love to do this again at some point.
Oh, certainly.
All right, man. You take care. All right. Have a nice rest of your evening.
It's always fun talking to the triggered, fragile snowflakes in your audience.
I really don't think anybody's triggered. We're just like puzzled.
Fair enough. All right, man. You take care, Harden.
Anyway, good night. Good night.
All right. Later,
Bye.
Kaya.
Bye.
Later, Mariah. Good night.
All right. Jesus. Okay, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. Thank you for subscribing. Very hydrated, man. Thank you for the donation. Also, Harley, thank you. Everyone, that was fun. But I'm hungry. And the guy's giving me a headache, so... Join the Discord. I have a new Discord again. The link is in the description if you guys want. We now have channels for like health and books if you like reading books and shit. And as always, animals for your pets. All right. See you later, snowflakes.
Yeah.
Stay triggered.